Hello and welcome everyone to Dr. Shirley Live. I am your host, Dr. Shirley Clark, and I'm excited. I got my road dogs, my partners with my boo, and all those people today. So we're fit to tear the stage up. We know everybody said they called to speak. They want to, travel the world. They want to do all of this for Jesus, open my mouth and he'll feel it and all of that good stuff. But listen, we've got a great show today. But based on our magazine, Speak for Wealth. And I'm telling you, the Lord dropped this in my spirit, said, come on, let's bring all these speakers together and have a symposium. Let's talk about this thing. Because I think most of us know, all of us from what I could see, have been in the game over 10 years or more. And we know, hello, somebody, as I get ready to bring my co host up, we already know that you can't just open your mouth and he going to feel it. There going to be some other stuff you going to need to do if you want the gold. I'm telling you right now, you better go ahead and tag a queen, another sister, a brother, and let them know if you're trying right now to master this area, this whole thing, this speaking industry, and all of this. You want to be paid. You want people to notice you. We want to have a great dialogue today. Some of these people have been in the game longer than others. Some speak on big stage, some speak on small, middle, whatever. But I'm telling you, there is an art to this thing called speaking or having a professional speaking career. We want to make sure that you know the difference. Everybody just open their mouth are not a speaker. So I got an array of speakers, all different backgrounds. Going to be talking today with me and sharing this stage talking about this. Hey, can we say an amen already? I got corporate speakers. I got Christian speakers. I got women speakers. I got marketplace speakers. Come on, leaders. Okay, the apostle. We all got a story to tell. It's just, can you tell it right? Listen, this is what I want to do. I believe in making sure my brothers is taken care of, my sisters is taken care of. So what are we going to do? I need you to share the broadcast. I need you to take the next minute or so, and I need you to start tagging, sharing. And I've learned the Bible say you have not because you ask not. Hey, this is what I need you to do. I need you to what? Share it to your groups, share it to your friends, share it to your pages. Hello, somebody. And you can also text people. So hello, okay. Maybe I don't. I guess maybe you can share it to what, TikTok. I know you can share it to all the other ones. So I need you to share this broadcast. Why do I need you to share it? I want to teach you about leveling up. You got to level up your wealth if you want to make it in this business. And you got to level up not just your wealth as well. You got to learn how to hone your skills. You have to recognize you can open your mouth just a little bit and God feel it for a little while, but you won't get the real gold. And I want to hear from these people because all of us know what it is. Possibly some of us might know. Remember where you get paid in pounds. You get paid in flowers and chickens and stuff. Can we just say amen for deliverance? Listen, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to take a moment. I need to check a few streams. I'm going to do what I told you to do. I'm going to be sharing. If you're with me, my partners are down here. In case you don't know, I believe at the top, if you have StreamYard, you can connect directly into this stream and it go right into your platform. So if you are a paid customer, in case you didn't know, look up to your right. They might ask you a question about, connecting your stream to it or whatever. Yes, say yes and let it go right into your platform. Hey, this is going to be a pod. This is a synergetic move. And I'm Dr. Shirley Clark. I'm ready to lead this thing, I said, down the hill, this train down the hill to talk about this. I'm going to be right back, but I need you to share, share, share. I'm going to say it again, share, share, share. And I'll be right back. God bless you. Hello and welcome back to Dr. Shirley Live. I am ready to get this party started. Now, listen, I need to let you know we need you all to keep the chat alive. I need you to share in it. Dr. Marina's already in it. She already telling people let's join the conversation. Angela Reed said, wow. Dr. Marina, let them know. Thank you for joining my friend. That's right. That's right. She's she done connected your strings too. Huh? Let the Lord be magnified up in us in this place. So listen, we are ready to get this party started. Dr. Marina McLean is a global speaker. They've been speaking probably over 30 years or more, her and her husband. And I'm going to let her come up. One of the reasons I selected Dr. Marina to co-host this with me, I recognize all of you, but I know Dr. Marina longer than all of you. But I also know that most people only know sometimes just a few people that's out doing incredible things. But she and her husband, they stand on stages to 10,000 people more. Their conferences is made of diverse people backgrounds. She went live one time years ago just on Facebook alone to do a prayer called I Will Pray. And over 200,000 people got on that stream in 5 minutes. Listen, there's more than one way to speak. And that's why I asked Dr. Marina to join me, co-host, because she can gauge this. She's seen enough pastors. They work with too many leaders and they mentor a lot of people in ministry. And so, Dr. Marina McLean, welcome to this time.
Hello, my friend.
I'm so glad to have you, my sis. I know you look innocent, but this sister will blow it out of the water. I'm telling you right now. This we've been together how long now? Ooh,
oh my gosh, 20 plus years. Yes. And still going and still being challenged.
Yes. Yeah. And so tell everybody about you, Dr. Marina. I said a little bit because you're from London originally, your husband, y'all been married how long? And then about the ministry and how you all it's a different type of ministry you have to do when you have a global group of people. Can you just tell everybody who you are and just kind of let's talk about this a little bit, and then we're going to bring other guests up as we go.
So I'm Dr. Marina McLean. I was born and raised in London. Both my husband and our 3 young adults were born and raised in London. We had a church and a Bible school in London. And then we moved here to the States. And our ministry now is called RMM, Revelation, Miracles, and Manifestations. And this coming next week, we'll be married 42 years. And as I tell people, and I'm still sane and still love Jesus.
When is your
the 29th. We've talked about this. Ours is very close. Yes, September marriage.
Ours is 28th.
Yes,
yes. I'm 40, you 42. Okay.
Yes, just a little ahead. But I used to say we reinvent ourselves. Now I say we evolve, because of the place that we are in, we're constantly evolving. So we have a ministry that's itinerant and leaders under our covering, but we've transitioned to doing our church online, which is our Infinity Center. We had a TV app. Now we've just recently transferred that to YouTube membership. So every content that we put out, it is monetized on YouTube. Even our music, because I write music, that is monetized also on YouTube. And so designing your platforms now is so important, because there's so many different spheres to reach. And another thing that I do, I have a TV show called Mega Women, where I interview women. Dr. Shirley's been on it, and I network with women, because I don't know everybody, but people do know somebody that needs their message to get out. They've got a book, they're an activist in something in the community. We interviewed TV presenters, young lady who won Miss Colleyville. Now she's Miss Texas. But she's been my youngest so far. And then I've done breast cancer survivors. I interview them. And so just networking. You've got to be in this position where you don't just stay in your circle. I call it cross-pollinating. You have to cross-pollinate. One, to stay relevant, and two, to stay active in this forever changing realm called Christianity and media. So that there's a whole lot more to me, but that's me in a nutshell for right now.
It's okay. Listen, now listen. So you've been speaking how many years now? I don't want to get it. I said over 30. I did over
Yeah.
40.
So,
You might beat me in this now. I've been doing it over 40 years.
yeah. So
I,
just take the US. We've been in the US almost 27 years, and those 27 years straight out the gate we've been speaking. But prior to that, we were speaking in London. Traveled. I've traveled 15 nations. My husband's traveled 18 nations speaking. But now the globe comes to us here in the United States. They will travel for our international conference, which is coming up in a month's time. They travel to us, not only here in the States, but across the world, because of the message that we carry. It's a kingdom message. We've always been kingdom minded. Mm-hmm. And when I say kingdom minded, that's just us teaching kingdom. That's signs, wonders, and miracles. Jesus, when he talks about the kingdom, he didn't just talk about the wealth of the kingdom. He demonstrated it, and the wealth came. Come on, somebody. Those of you that've been watching Chosen. So I wouldn't give everybody else a chance, but that's. I can be concise and I can be very creative in my answer, but I'm going to keep it concise for right now.
Yeah. Oh, no problem. Listen, well, we got some discussion topics we want to make sure we get talk about today, and whatever else God want to do. Listen, this is I often tell people, this is my party. I'm paying the bills. If you don't say something right, it's okay. This is a family conversation.
Yes.
Trust me, we certified speakers. I've been through it all. The fact that Dr. Clark is talking is a God move.
Yes. Yes.
I'm doing this. Okay. You hear my story as we talk, but I want to get these other leaders up. And I listen, the discussion, we want to talk about the challenges and triumphs, woman of God, today about being a professional speaker. We all got some pros and cons. Trust me,
absolutely.
we all got our stories. And the only thing we ask when you're telling these stories, hit it and quit it.
Yes.
We've got a lot of speakers we want to be, offer one another, Dr. Marina. And I know the dog was barking on the Sunday morning when you cross the street, but let's skip all of that. Just go.
I love you.
Can we get on across the street? The sun was rising high, the mountain was, lights was gleaming, sound. Okay, can we get to across the street? So let's have a good conversation. Leave out some of the details because we're going to talk about how to book yourself solid. And mother, I've learned this. I'm in the actual professional speaking, but I got at 2019 officially after 40 some years. I said, I'm done. I am not in the actor where I got to have something on my schedule all the time because I make more money sitting at home. That's another strategy, but we'll get everybody practical success tips for building influence through speaking. Is there really money in speaking? Can it be a sustainable career? How to become a better storyteller? So, so right away, joining us, I want to bring up Kevin Wayne, pastor and leadership coach. I want to bring up Kevin Wayne Johnson, and he is, let me go ahead and bring him up. I got multitudes of things open here. I want to go ahead and bring him up. And also I want to bring up Maurice. So Pastor, come on up. Welcome to the broadcast, Kevin Wayne Johnson. Kevin is a pastor, executive, and founder and chief executive of the Johnson Leadership Group. He has all types of organizational strategies for individuals and corporations. He's a leadership coach. What else I can say about him? He's doing a whole lot in the person development in this area. He's all the way from Maryland. I want to say because is it Maryland?
I am on the East Coast in the great state of Maryland. You got it.
I got Maurice Hicks is here. Former FBI agent. Come on, don't put nobody in jail today. Maurice, let's see what we got. Maurice is a best-selling author, award-winning author as well, and he's a adjunct professor in the criminology area and retired police lieutenant, and he's been speaking over 20 years. So welcome, Maurice, to the stage. And Wayne, you were speaking over, and y'all, if I don't get your titles and stuff straight, y'all forgive me right now. We're not on a professional stage. We're family this morning.
Mm.
But you, 30 years, you've been speaking and pastoring, all of that as well. So listen, let's bring up a couple of more. Grace, I know these guys are extremely busy, so I want to get them to the stage. Grace on her own. When I tell you she come with the goods, she has her own business here. Grace is a global, ambassador speaker.
Mm.
And in this area here in the Dallas area, she has her own business. And I'm telling you, I'm trying to say it's a compassion. Let's see, I'm looking at it. She's going to tell it more. But anyway, she has employees. It's a state employee business. She'll tell it. Her father-in-law in Africa, well known, the DACOs, 600 employees and stuff. But she travels a lot. She's on the board or one of ambassador for Dickie's barbecue or something here. She is global, traveling all the time, serving as a liaison for people in the Potter's house and the leaders and things going over to Ghana. Her and her husband fly in and pave the way and make sure she's like an ambassador liaison up at that level. So global. When I tell you global, she managed. The girl got so many degrees, Dr. Grace. Dr. Grace, can you welcome you, Maurice and Kevin, immediately? I want to go ahead and welcome you all to the stage. Welcome. Can you say, greet the people, Pastor Kevin, and then Maurice, and then Dr. Grace.
Yeah, absolutely. So first of all, Dr. Shirley, thank you so much for the invitation. It's an absolute honor and pleasure to be here, to be in front of all of these wonderful, dynamic men and women of God who love and adore the Lord, but equally important, have the heart to serve and the heart to give, right? It's not about us retaining information for ourselves, but it's about serving other people to help them in their journey, because we all have goals, dreams, and aspirations. So how can we be allowed to be used as a vessel to help people to get from A to B? That's really what it's all about.
Yeah.
That's my story, and I'm going to stick to it.
Stick to it. Hey, listen, I have one more down here. My roll down, you can't see everybody. You slide down. I have to bring my man of God up, Tim Lynch, Elder Tim Lynch, all the way. I want to say all the way, but he and I have been hanging out for a long time. He's have founded 4 chambers of commerce. He's been on the Dallas Strategic Board. He's heading out, working with the men's ministry there at the Potter's house, and just had a community forum. He invited me on to help co-host. I got some leaders to share. And Tim, he's doing AI training with MIT. He is just a major player in leadership. He talks about going through a leadership program with NASA years ago. So Tim has been speaking over 20 some years. It might be 30. Tim, I know you did your thing, just so y'all got to forgive me that some of those came in today. But Tim and I have been around a long time, and I've seen God use this young man in so many different ways. And I was like, see, we're going to talk about this. Having the right relationship currency can put you on a stage just like that and connect the dots. And Tim put me on, and I invited Maurice, and then another, doors open. We're talking about how do you speak? How do you get in the doors? Tim invited me, and I looked down I was like, okay, man, I'm good, you and I, that kind of thing. And then I saw this flyer. I said, I think we can upgrade you again, helping one another out. I said, man, God, let's do it. And I'm just putting pictures in. I'm not even looking at who they are until I started typing them in. Pastor Kev, you got me with the COO, TDJ ministry. Okay, I need to make this real big. One moment, one opportunity. You never know, so you don't write people off. So Tim, welcome to the platform. But let Grace and Maurice. I know Maurice got just a little bit more time to hang out with us. But so Maurice, let me have you greet Dr. Grace and then Tim, and then we're gonna start this dialogue. Maurice.
Yes, good morning, everybody. Good morning, Dr. Clark. It's a pleasure to be here amongst these distinguished guests. It's truly an honor. Uh, for me, I'm a retired police lieutenant from here in the state of Maryland and former leader of FBI Homicide Task Force. And it's my background in public speaking really started a long time ago, like 20 years ago, where I started speaking in the men's retreat. And then I was able to speak at a conference in Montana using my story of growing up in Baltimore as a catalyst for diversity and leadership training. So really since then, I've just begun to get back into speaking engagements. So thank you very much for having me.
Absolutely. Dr. Grace, you need to unmute yourself, Dr. Grace. You're doing me now. You're doing me.
Yes, I'm.
I don't set the
I
stage.
apologize.
No
So
problem.
first of all, I'm so honored to be here. It's just a joy. Since you told me about it, I've been really looking forward. I was born and raised in Ghana. I came in to the U.S. when I was 16 years old to California, and so you can calculate it. I'm almost 50. I'm 49, but I am so thrilled to be under the leadership of my father, who is a pastor. And so I grew up as a PK in the ministry. And from there, and again, I would say my speaking uh, started when I was a kid. Because we used to do different things and you don't have a choice. You have to be part of it and speak. And so it started from there. And, but I am specialized in healthcare, nurse in as profession. I actually got my master's in leadership, MBA, and then also merged into global leadership as my doctorate. So I have been in the healthcare management for quite some time, about 28 years. And so through that, and critical care was my specialty when I got into healthcare. And through that, I was able to get into that space of being able to open my own business. So I do have a home health agency. And right after the home health agency, I opened the hospice and also open assisted living. While doing this, I was doing ministry at the same time and also doing a lot of empowerment programs with a foundation that I have, Grace Compassion Foundation. And we do currently have one ongoing here that really more geared towards healthcare, those that don't have access to be able to care for themselves. We're able to have programs that provide them with that. And we're also able to have an NGO in Ghana that
Wow.
it's also Grace Compassion Global Foundation. And we do a lot with the diaspora, especially we help people that wants to come in from the US, come into Ghana or come into the global arena and generate either NGO or come in and do different collaborative efforts. So I am being able to be blessed with that entrepreneur space, business space, and also influence to be able to touch others. So that's what I do.
Wow. Girl, that's a whole lot. That's a mouthful. Tim, greet the people. And then I've got some more people here on the stage. I got a couple of one or two
Absolutely,
more.
absolutely. Again, an honor to be here among all these distinguished leaders. Dr. Clark pretty much gave you a good summary. We go way back, probably a little over 20 years, Dr. Clark and I was one of the founders of the Christian Chamber of Commerce. We opened several chapters throughout the U.S. And right now, I think Dr. Clark mentioned that I am AI. I'm an AI, what you call a solution architect, uh, but I'm not with MIT. I was certified through MIT in their AI solution architect. So I'm doing some economic development using AI, and it's very exciting. Something we call Own It, which is ownership economy. We see a trend taking place, whereas I know a lot of the jobs are being I guess displacing a lot of workers with AI technology, but they're creating a lot of opportunities, and those opportunities are what we call an own it economy. And so we're developing some of those things. So looking forward to hearing a lot of the dynamic speakers today and gleaning information from you guys. And that's about it.
Yeah. Wow. That Tim, you know I love you so much. We go so far back, and it's some people you want to keep in your life even if you don't see them for years. They're good people whenever you call them. Tim is like that. And this is what it's all about, connecting the dots. When I saw him, I was like, all that we did this summer with his forum for the Potter's House, me and you were doing things community, and just one of the things we've got to learn to honor those that's gone before us and open the opportunity up. And I love that his heart is so for the ministry. It wasn't his thing. He know that this is under the the umbrella of my church, and I want to make sure it's managed well. And he kept that before us. This was not his thing. This was his church, and he wanted to manage it and honor. That's something we need to talk about as leaders, how you do that as speakers, because sometimes we go in people's house and wreck their houses. And then they leave and scatter all their sheets. But I know I've got some people on borrowed time. Maurice and Melanie is my road dog. Dr. Marina, Melanie the Bonita is in house. Listen, the reason I'm getting her because she is such a strategist in the area of where you can speak, platform, because everybody think of church, and somehow they think the scripture said, "Go ye into all the churches." And preach the gospel. It said, "I'll go into all the what?" Come on, Maurice. You're going to have to open up your mic. What is the Bible say? Go into what? All the churches or all the world? Come on, Melanie. I'm going to let you tell your own story, but let me just say it this way. She got laid off, I believe, 10 times. Even at the Pentagon, we're making probably 6 figures. I'm just going to tell that little bit about it. But she decided that the devil is a liar. That many layoff, God's got another strategy for my life. It must be for full time. So Melanie been working this thing, but Melanie, tell them where you're at now. Melanie, do not think that Melanie is just in a building. Melanie is in where, Melanie? Open up your mic.
I am in the New York Times Square. I just left from being in the studio audience of the Sherry Show. We have billboards in New York Times Square up tomorrow. We have a full schedule of what we're doing with one of my new authors, Dr. Nandi. So I'm just doing a whole lot. I said, Dr. Clark, I got a lot going on. You still want me to speak? But she's like, people need to know where you are, what you're doing, and how you're doing some things. And so it's just it's a lot to transition. We just stopped to get something to eat real quick, but we can go look at a bookstore where we're going to be doing some book signings in New Jersey as well, a 2-story bookstore. And so, like Dr. Clark said, it's about strategy. It's not, you do have to go out because it's not always about just staying in the church and around church people, because everyone else does need to hear. And it was so amazing because today was Sherry's first back from being gone since May. And it wasn't a live taping, but they had a gospel choir there. And I was like, that is so amazing that Sherry had a gospel choir on her show and to open back up to coming back for her 4th season. And I'm telling you, we have to do better. Right now, it's a lot going on in this world, here, there, everywhere. Kids get scared to go to school because they're getting shot. Matter of fact, at my church, we had a 15-year-old boy. The first week of school back, he got shot and murdered, and he's no longer here. But you know what? It's our job, as you said, like she said, kingdom people, to go ye therefore. So even though I currently live in sunny Florida, I'm in New York Times Square, getting people information about my prayer book, the daily devotionals, and here, there, everywhere. So thank you, Dr. Clark, for the introduction. We can't hear you, Dr.
Clark,
Clark.
unmute.
Dr. Clark, you're still muted.
Mhm.
Can y'all hear Dr. Clark? Okay, you'll be okay. We can keep going. And that's and so
I'm back. Yeah, my
thank you.
device was not working to get me unmuted. Listen, Melanie, I met Melanie. She called me about 2015. She saw an ad of mine, did a gospel promo about books. She's a huge book boss. But when she called me about a second time, I knew that she knew stuff in the industry, connections, speaking, more people to expand. And I hired her. I said, you got to be my marketing director. You see, all of this, Melanie took us to all so many places. When you're a speaker, you got to know that you can't sit and wait on your phone to ring. You got to create. Melanie is one of the most creative person I know. And then I took her through my 90-day challenge. And so that girl got even more creative. She got so many products. She said, Melanie opened up, but let me explain. We're going to talk about that more. But every name, Melanie, so she's down in Times Square right now. She figured out that she can put her books out. They don't need nothing. She said, let me check it out. That people can speak and sell books. You got to know how to make money. Melanie know how to make money and speak. She'll stand there and Melanie can sell to a dog. I'm telling you, a dog will put a book in the mouth of Melanie. I said, girl, how you do that? She said, girl, God will call me. I know how to do this stuff. You know, I know how to sell. I'll sell 400, 500 books. But that's where we're going to talk about having products to need to, because somebody love offering, Pastor Kevin and Maurice, their love offering might not be as much love in it. We got to have, hey, Renee, we got to have some products and stuff. Let's talk about this. Hey, Renee, can you greet the people? You're from the Maryland area too.
Yes, the DMV area. Of course, my sister Melanie is, we're from the same area, and she is everything you said, plus, plus, plus. She is amazing. That daily prayer book, that was just among all of the other things that she's published, and she has different iterations of the daily prayer uh, devotional. But when I tell you that the marketing prowess that goes along with it, incredible. I'm A. Renee Cooper, glad to be here. And everybody that's on this line can attest to the fact, if Dr. Clark calls, you answer, you change your life, you change your schedule, you got
Don't say
airline
that, Dr.
tickets,
Marina.
you go wherever it is that she's going, because she in fact herself is a mover and shaker. She is kingdom, dynasty, royalty. We love her. Absolutely. But she shows up in multiple spaces. And I think that that's very, very important in this season. We have to come out of the four walls. Church is definitely transitional, but church is, number one, not the same at all. And in order for us to be survivors and in order to disciple others who need to come to Christ, we've got to come out of the four walls and come to where they are. I'm a multi hyphenate person. I've worked in the entertainment industry years past, and that transitioned into me being involved in ministry. And for very many years, I traveled extensively in a liturgical dance space. I have spoken and taught dance and helped other ministries build dance ministries all over the world. And in this juncture, now presently, I have a company, is Strong Strategy, and I work with ministries and businesses to help them position themselves within their industries as experts, um, in addition to being in ministry. But definitely, I think our voices have resonance outside of the four walls, and marketplace ministry is where we're going. So I feel like today we will get more nuggets and share how to push that directive forward. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. I know Maurice, you might have to leave. I know he's in between work. So Maurice, I want to start this dialogue off. Let's talk about some of these things we want to talk about today. Let me see. I know we want to talk about some of the pros and cons as being a speaker. And Dr. Marina, you certainly can jump in anytime. And so what has been some of your challenges? I know you just getting back, you said, but in the past when you were out speaking, let some of the board, we just want to, hey, this is a room, a hospital room, as well as some of the people might be, listen, we invite you all that's watching to give us some pointers as well. If something has worked for you and we asked the question, absolutely put it in the chat and let us know what you tried. But Maurice, I know you're getting back. For those who are trying to get back now, you've been speaking, came out, and now you're trying to get back out and get going. What happened when you was really out? Any pros and cons? What is that thing that you want to tell people about? And then whoever, and Melanie, I don't know how long you can stay with us. So certainly I want you all to be able to grab the call about 5 minutes with her. So next, and then we will continue with Dr. Marina. Go right ahead.
Yes, well, the first thing I can say is pretty much being labeled as a police officer where people think you don't have any other skills. You know, I have a master's degree in management. I've been an associate professor now for 25 years, but pretty much being typecast as a police officer, people didn't see my value. It's like they think you don't have any other skills. But for me, when I tapped into my journey, growing up in Baltimore, the things that I experienced growing up and watching people shooting up heroin. And that's when I started having more success with being able to get people to hire me to come in and speak about different things. But that was my greatest challenge, being labeled where people think you don't have any other skills, any other knowledge.
So, Melanie, I want you to, because you are so good at this, right out. I want you to follow up on this, and then I want you to share as well. But follow up on that, because a lot of time, he ran into most of a lot of our problems that we don't be our own storytellers and be a rescuer. How you got to tell people who you are. So that would be excellent. Let's talk about that, Melanie. Go right ahead. You share some of your pros and cons, and then give some feedback on that. I would love to hear.
Absolutely, Dr. Clark. I think one of the things we could do is really focus on our strengths. And when we focus on our strengths in the area, and so use what you have to your advantage. And I know Maurice has a lot of great skills and he has a lot of great things. And so he could use that to his advantage that, okay, don't look at me of where I was and look at me as who I am. Like people used to look at me as being a veteran of the United States military, or they would look at me as the teenage mom, or like you say, all these other things. And I have to mesh it together with my speaking and say, hey, yes, this is where I was, but this is not where I'm going. And this is not who God called me to be. And so that's a great Maurice. So God can just really use where he was and a part of that testimony of what he's done when he was there, but to let him know, hey, that was just a part of the story. That was only temporary. That was just, okay, this was a part of the journey on the way to the next journey. So I think the pros is he has great experience and he saved and he helped a lot of people and he blessed a lot of people. Now that he saved and blessed a lot of people, use a piece of that story to capture the audience and say, okay, this is who I am and what I'm doing now. I'm not just living the life of a correctional officer or police or detective or all of those things. Now I'm speaking about those things so that I can even bless even a wider audience and more people. Does that make sense?
Yeah. I have a question, Dr. Shirley. So Maurice, what would you say that you have used? We call it transferable skills. You've transferred that skills and now using it in a different area.
Undoubtedly, my ability to encourage people. I'm a great encourager. I've mentored a lot of people. I've encouraged people who've done amazing things.
I hand it back to you, Dr. Shirley. You have to unmute.
You were on the road. If I'm taking a little delay, I'm doing other stuff. I'm moving stuff. But listen, the whole thing is when you're getting ready, and anybody can jump in now. I would definitely love for any of you that are like me. I am a strategist, and I certify professional speakers. Now, I don't certify Christian speaker. I certify professional speaker. If you happen to be a Christian, because see, sometimes that could be a limit. One of the things we were taught by our bishop, and I'm not calling names, but the bishop, that you can get it from there, fill in the gap. He told us to write to kingdom, speak the kingdom, because God told us to go into all the world, not, and I recognize that all the world didn't mean all the churches in the conference church country. It means we got to have our language and be prepared. So we have to prepare ourselves, and we have to tell our own story. When you are getting ready to come out, what is the story you want to, the form? What is that signature story? That Melanie hit on it. What were your strengths? What did you do? And most people don't realize everything you've done, whether soft skills. I would love to hear from Pastor Wayne about this leadership and all of this, is that everything you do can be monetized and can be used in areas becoming your platform. So Maurice had a platform, right? Melanie, thank you. But Melanie, I want to say before you go, would you, some of the things you have done for speakers to open them the doors up for them has been what? They spoke on cruises. You have to be intentional and where you can, and don't think you can't just speak in a museum. You have done so much. There are so many doors that speakers can get into. Often if they think Dr. Marina, or that's the church. So I want to really, you got to think bigger. When you ask God to open up the speaking career for you, you can't just, you got to open your mind now. It might be on the corner. It might be in, come on. You could be in Starbucks setting up a group. Starbucks don't mind if you're going to buy some coffee and some food.
Absolutely, Dr. Clark. And it's so funny that you said that, because a lot of speakers limit themselves to say, okay, well, I have to be on the stage at a big event. And it's like you can make more impact even if it's only 15 people in the room. And it's like create. And I told someone that, I'm like, start having your own event. I just started having the book box brunch. And I'm just amazed at the amount of feedback I'm even just getting from the first one. God told me to have, like, literally in an area that I never lived in before. But create your own event, and you can, and it doesn't have to be huge. It can be in a private room at a restaurant. It can be something, but you have to start creating your own stages and say, I'm going to go out, like you said, and not just wait and say, oh, well, I called this person one time and they didn't let me speak at their event. No, start creating your own events. And then you can start with virtual events like you're having now. Do a virtual event every week. Start your own podcast. And when you start really creating and getting on social media like we should be doing anyway, people are going to call you to speak at their event. When that video go viral, you're going to have people reaching out to. And I do have to say this real quick, Dr. Clark, because I've created so many stages and I got out. And I was just telling Dr. Nandi that when we were leaving the Sherry show, that, because I forgot to tell, last night when I was on the plane, so my flight was delayed in Atlanta from Florida coming to New York. And I was on a plane, and that flight attendant came up to me and said, are you a author and a speaker? And I was like, yes. She said, I have your book. Now this lady don't even live in Florida. And I was like, wow. And so the more you're out here and the more you're doing things and the more you're getting out, people are going to recognize you. And I was just so shocked. And she was serving the drink, and after she finished serving the drink, she came back and talked to me for a little while and told me how much my books was inspired. And she said she got it over 5 years ago. So again, and that was like right before COVID, and it was a lot going on back then when I had a health challenge and was in the hospital, in and out of hospital. But it doesn't matter, even in hospitals. I've done speaking engagements and events in hospitals. I've done book signings in the VA hospitals. And so you never know where you're going to inspire someone or who you're going to inspire. Of course, I don't go to VA hospitals now post-COVID, but before COVID, I will go to the hospitals, and people are like, that's a real interesting place to do an event. But if they're going to let me have a place, a room, or somewhere, it's like we have to be mindful of, it doesn't just have to be that's right, create your own event. It doesn't just have to be a big stage. So, and I'm going to tell you one thing Mr. Les Brown told me. How he made his first million is he spoke everywhere for free. And so his You Got to Be Hungry program. So he spoke everywhere. It doesn't have to be, oh, I have to be, if I'm not on TEDx stage, I'm not going to go speak. But don't nobody even know who you are, right? So let's get established. Let's build a platform. Let's go live on social media and be a part of other audiences like this. Connect with other speakers, right? And just say, look, interview other people, have other people interview you. and watch. You never know what can happen, what God can do when you bring two people together and one video go viral. So I'm gonna go definitely like that. Yes, I'm on here. These people probably like, she got what she got going on, but I'm great. Thank you so much for having me, Dr.
All right, listen, I have another one. Did she leave? Dr. Eloise Smith, where you at? She just came out of the operating room. She said, I got to get in on this. She is an anesthesiologist and a speaker and consultant. So, Maurice, you let me know. I'm on the text it when you're ready to leave. But I want to hear, welcome, Dr. Eloise Smith. Can you just open up your mic and greet the people? You've been speaking now for a while. She's a global speaker and she manifests miracles. She raised her daddy from the dead. Blind eyes have come over. Deaf ears have come over. Come on. You might not know these people names, and she already get the gold. She already got the gold. And Dr. Clark got a book. Listen, when we did her book, she was like, she told me, said, Dr. Clark, I'm speaking on Friday years ago, and they're expecting 500 people. And she told me the week before, we ain't released the book yet. Let's get the work. Let's get the work. Let's get this book out. I didn't say nothing. I knew that we can move a book in 24 hours that get it printed. So this is why I like she can't miss the money, Pastor Cap Tim. She can't miss the money, Dr. Grace. I don't need but 50 to 100 people. Get me some money in this for this woman to go. She said, you a kid, Dr. Eloise, can you greet the people? Let's just say the book we're going to press on Wednesday, and I have a heavy express fee. But the book landed on Friday night at her home at 5:30. And by that time, I created a workbook and a CD and a package. We won't sell in no book. I got to get $5 million back just for the shipping. So I worked her paper. I put that little $150 pack on me, but 3 to 6 sales ago. All the shipments go. I was working that table. You know why? I'm a servant leader. She was a speaker. I'm never that big that I can't help my people. So, Dr. Would you agree? I know you got about 5 minutes or so. She just got out of the operating room. She keep people alive. Can you say hi? And then I want to hear
hello, everyone. Oh, thank you, Dr. Clark. Thank you for inviting me. Hello to everyone. I love all of you. I appreciate you for just having me to spend a couple of minutes. Actually, I've got another CRNA that's in the operating room covering for me while I step out a few minutes to say hello. And I'm just so excited to be able to do this, to be able to share just the goodness of God. And as Miss Bonita was saying, my sister, as she was saying, but I think it's just.
Ooh, the devil is. She comes back. We'll add her back to the stage. Let's see.
Mine is what I do is medicine and putting people to sleep, but it's a blessing to be able to wake them up. And actually, I just had a patient, even before she went to sleep, had a severe reaction. And she was like, oh, Dr. Smith, you're the best, because she was going downhill extremely fast. And just God giving us wisdom to know what to do, when to do, how to do, and to have it work immediate in an immediate period. So, but not only in medicine, but God is a healer. And that's what I love to share with people. I thank God for Dr. Clark. She was with me a couple of years ago when I was totally blind. But I know it's, without a testimony, we must have tests to have a testimony. So it's a blessing to have the testimony that I was truly blind and couldn't see. And Dr. Clark even laid down her lifestyle, everything, and came and moved in with me. As she said, the Lord told her to do it. And I'm so thankful, because I'm thinking I can see, I don't need anybody to help me, but not realizing that I couldn't, but I needed to just have that confession of faith and be standing on the word of God, and that God gave me eyes to see, and I could see. And gradually after surgery, and their whole thing, they were telling me, the surgeon was saying, oh no, enucleation is the only option. We have to remove your eyes. And I was like, that's not an option. That's not God's report. And then a few weeks later, I began to see. And I'm just thanking God that we can stand. Oh, you too. Thank you. Sorry. That you can stand on the word of God and see the manifestations of God. I mean, God is doing miracles, signs, and wonders every day. And we have to just stand on his word and believe God and don't accept the package of the enemy. I don't care what it is. Yesterday, I was taking a communion at home, and I'd taken the bread. And then before I drank the juice, the Holy Spirit said, anoint your body. And we must be obedient to the Holy Spirit, because my knees were irritating, and I had awakened up, my back was irritated. I was like, what is this? And I began to just praise God that I was totally healed by the stripes of Jesus. And we must speak his word, because the angels, they see your tears. They see what's going on with your life, whether it's financial, whether it's medical, no matter what it is. God sees our tears and seeing us in pain, but we must speak his word back to him, because his word said it will not return void. So we have to do that principle of the word and see the manifestation. And before I could even drink the juice, I was totally healed. And that was just less than 24 hours ago. Nobody can do that but God, because we know even drinking doing the communion, there's healing in just doing the communion. But God, he just said, anoint your body in between the bread and the juice. And I began to do that. Yes. And I began to do that and watch God, and saw a miracle in my own life. So no matter what it is, I don't care if it's finances, I don't care if it's your family members, I don't care if it's any other members that no matter where you are. I was in Bahamas last week, and on a cruise, and I got off the island, and God led me to pray for some woman, and she was saying, needing healing, and I began to pray for her and speaking life. She began to jump and run and praise God, because we're no matter where we are and no matter what country we are, Jesus is yet Lord, and he's the same God in the United States as he is in the Bahamas or wherever we are. And as long as we have life and we can proclaim the word of God, because we must do as he did, as he said, do, just speak life and speak it, and not just a silent agreement. We must speak as he spoke, because we're the only beings created in his image. So I just believe we must speak his word. It doesn't return void, and we can expect anything, because he's giving us all power over all of the power of the enemy, which is a tremendous, tremendous blessing and honor. And we can walk in by faith and not by sight. And we can walk in the blessings of God that make us rich and add no sorrow to it. So thank you for this opportunity, Dr. Clark. I'm just so excited to just take a second. And I pray that what I said was encouraging to you, because and we overcome by the blood of the Lamb and the words of our testimony. So I pray that my testimony was an encouragement to you to don't give up. It doesn't matter what the situation, I don't care if it's finances, don't give up. God blessed me with a $3.4 million a home, and he blessed me supernaturally to walk in it within less than 45 days, with no realtor, no bank, and
Hello.
no mortgage
All right.
company.
Where are my 90-day people?
Yes,
Challenge folks.
with no, amen,
No bank, no
no
what,
mortgage
no credit
company,
check, no,
no
see, I'm
credit
trying
check,
to
and
tell
no
y'all,
realtor.
no
Nobody can
religion.
do that but God. But we
Yeah.
must follow the principles of God. And because
Yeah.
one principle is sowing, and God had me to sow.
Okay, I got to stop, because this is her vein. This is why her story, she's a great storyteller, talking about financing and so you got to be able, Dr. Smith, to be able to tell the story. That's why people bring her in to tell her story. What is your story compelling enough that folks will want to hear? She just said a story even about money. Dr. Smith is a wealth coach, executive coach, and a teacher, but a Bible teacher and a miracle. She's a missionary speaker. Don't get in a lane that you're not called to. Come on, Dr. Smith. I just had to get, because I know you can rock. Because when you start talking that money, I know somebody gave you $1 million worth of. You one of our coaches in the wealth community. Doc, I know if you need to get back to work, I definitely want to hear from a few of these people. But I thank you. I'm gonna release you because you're there at the hospital. But I just wanted them to hear from you, because sometimes people think, just sometimes if y'all just heard about her money in her house. Sometimes they don't always equate that to people that really have faith. Don't lock yourself in the box. This one, she's a Christian speaker, but she's big in the area of miracles. and she doesn't have pride. Let me talk to these pride. Come on, Pastor Kevin, you got to open your mic. Help me out on this. All of y'all pastors and Dr. Marina, you know, when God bless you, you can't be in pride if you want to keep it.
Amen.
Your
That's a
ministry,
word. That's a word. Humble
your ministry,
yourself.
talk about, because I see God elevate people. Now, she just told you her property she in is 10 million.
Yep.
But God is giving. We talk about that as speakers, as God elevate us? Let's talk about some of these practical stuff anyway. When God do elevate us as leaders and stuff and put us on stages. And Dr. Marina, you know you and your husband can kill this. How humble. Y'all walk in, nobody don't even know y'all been on a big stage. What do you want to say about that? How God, when God does elevate us on these stages, and believe me, Tim, you too, Dr. Grace, you definitely. When I found saw you're an ambassador. Let's talk about that, because God said pride goes before a fall. As a speaker, God will elevate us. Anybody can jump in and talk about that. How important it is that we stay humble as God do elevate us in the speaking arena.
I don't know if I'll jump in because I'll jump in. It's so important because you are an example of depending on God. Yes, she's got a great job, but her living, moving into that home was bigger than her job. And that's a testimony to God. And then she gives back. And that's the thing that we have to see in the kingdom right now, what God is doing. He's not just blessing us that we can just stand and announce the good things that he's done, but we give back, because kingdom is we lift up each other. Kingdom is, as I thrive, one of my phrases is, my miracle will be greater than yours, but you will share in my miracle. And that's so important that we get that mindset that God is giving us. And the lovely thing that she said, which is a principle that every single one of us here believe in, we are givers. We believe in tithes, we believe in offerings, and we believe in sowing the seed. And that's, you can teach it, but when you live it, it's even a better testimony.
Wow.
Yeah, and I would just add, everything that we've been talking about is an extension of the heart of not only Dr. Clark, but all of the distinguished panelists. And it's about serving. I mentioned this earlier in my introduction. It does take a hefty level of humility to recognize and acknowledge the importance of serving others, because Paul teaches us that concept. And also the word of God reminds us that as we do humble ourselves, then the Lord will lift us up. So it's a strategy, it's a principle, but it also aligns with God's word. But it also requires a level of maturity. Not everyone has the level of maturity to say, I'm going to put a little bit more focus on how can I help Dr. Clark in a moment where, I see an opportunity for me. What about me? I think I want to seize on this. No, it's about taking the time to serve others, because when we do, and you see those doors open, the right doors open, and then we can walk through. So, so far, so good. Dr. Clark, thank you so much for inviting me again. As I said in the introduction, this is powerful. I'm learning. I'm taking notes. I'm gonna follow up.
That's what you can't.
I'm gonna make some phone calls and send some texts. We're gonna connect on LinkedIn. I want to stay connected. Listen, God created us to be relational.
Yeah.
Well, what does that mean, Pastor Kevin? It's through the relationships that we create, sustain, and maintain over a lifetime that really propel us into that goal, dream, and aspiration that we all have. And when I share this with people in the audience, whether it's a one-on-one or whether it's 10,000 people, I want them to really think this is that mirror moment. Put that mirror up and look at yourself. Self-reflection, self-awareness, self-assessment. Where am I? What is my game plan to get closer to my dream? And who are the people that ultimately are going to help me get there? Because we can't go but so far by ourselves. And that's always a message that I send with any audience on any stage, on any given day, afternoon, or evening, because I want them to really think about it. And that's a way that we connect with people. I see the question consistently in the chat. What does it take to become a successful speaker? Well, I try to keep it simple. and it's about connecting with people and
Mm,
telling your story. So when you break down the STORY, what I do is I never talk about accolades and I never talk about achievements. That
wow.
comes later. When I'm first opening up on a stage or when I'm first meeting a person and we're having a conversation and a dialogue, I'll walk them through in 30 seconds or less my story. Here's the S. What's
Wow.
your
Go
favorite
ahead.
snack?
Go ahead.
What's your favorite snack? Oh, glad you asked. Brownies with walnuts. What's the T? What's your favorite destination in terms of travel? Oh, I'm glad you asked. Turks and Caicos. What's the O? What's your occupation? What do you do for a living? Oh, I'm glad you asked. I'm from Richmond, Virginia, same town as Arthur Ashe and Madam C.J. Walker. My dad is a U.S. Marine and my mom worked for the federal government, and they always taught me to be prepared. Well, what does that mean, Pastor Kevin? It means that no matter whether or not an opportunity exists, still be prepared. It's always better to be prepared and not have an opportunity than it is to have an opportunity and not be prepared. We all have a story. What is the aura in story? Everybody likes fine cuisine. What's your favorite restaurant? Mine is Fogo de Chao. And then last, what is the why in story? When is the last time you yelled? Either out of adoration or out of frustration. And for me, I'm a I'm a Baltimore Ravens fan. So whenever the Ravens are playing, I'm yelling. And what we're doing is connecting with the people in the audience. Now they're ready to embrace your message. Now, the achievements and the accolades, all that stuff comes later. But once we connect with people and we have them sitting on the edge of their seat, now we can impart some knowledge and educate and enlighten and make them aware. And for me, that's the simplicity of being on the stage. Can't
Anybody else want to join the conversation? Uh,
I do.
Tim, okay, okay, my girl every day is in there. Come on, every day,
You
Doctor.
know, I love what Pastor Johnson, that was amazing. I love story. I love acronyms on stage because acronyms help people remember what you said. They're not going to take away everything, but if you have an acronym, they take that with them, and that's their punchline. What was the speaker about? He talked about story. And having that acronym, and that's your very own. I love it. It relates to branding and how we identify who you are as a speaker, how we remember you as being impactful, and then next is remembering maybe a nugget that I can grow from when I leave that space. He started out talking about doors, and I wanted to add to the conversation to trust the doors and don't thrust the doors. Trust the doors, but don't thrust the doors. In other words, you have to trust the fact that every door that is open for you, every stage that is available to you, every microphone that is offered to you is a trusted door. It's the one that has been prepared for you before the foundation of the world. God knew that he was going to open up your mouth and cause you to have an eloquent ability to put together words that move people. And you have to trust the doors that come. Most often, we look at stages and doors that we want, and you should have that vision board, if you will, of I want to speak here, I want to speak there, but that's not really the focus. You want to be powerful, you want to be effective in the places that you go. And so if it's 10 places a year, that's 10 places of being effective and moving people forward, changing lives. If you're in an inspirational space, most importantly, I think is transitional. Are people making a transition by your speaking? Are you a transformation coach? Are you a transformation speaker where your words have an ability to shift a person to where they are to where they're supposed to be. And then finally, between trusting the door and not thrusting the door, we have to work in the middle. Hone your craft, polish up your story, come up with your acronym so that people can remember who you are after you've left the room, after you've left the stage. I'll land my plane right there.
Pastor, anybody want to say anything? I know some of you are, like I said, on a little bit of time. Anything else you want to say about that? Because I would really like to talk about some other things. Are you okay, Dr. Grace? Or do you want to say anything? Because I would love to talk about some practice. We've been talking about it anyway, so we want to talk about some practical success tip for building influence in speaking. Or what are some of the things you have done to open doors? Is there any really money in here? Let's talk about this, maybe the money side of this thing, because we've been in it a long time. Is there such a thing? I know there are professional speakers, but as Christians, a lot of time we have an issue with, I'm just going to call it out, Dr. Gray. We got this passion. Oh, give it all to Jesus. You know, we don't need to be paid. We selling the gospel. Can we just go and hit that? Can anybody want to hit this? Because you're gonna be broke with that passion anointing and not the purpose. And don't let, I'm trying not to jump in on it because I got a whole. I can shut the devil down. But the Bible tells us, come on, a laborer is worthy of his hire. Dr. Grace, do you get paid when you speak? I just want to make. Are you more in the love offering side, or are you a professional speaker? That can y'all talk? That's
Yes, yes, thank you, thank you. I do want to talk about it. It's
okay.
bubbling in
All
me.
right.
First of all, when you speak, you have to transform life. She already said it. When you speak, you have to solve a problem. We've already said that. And as you speak, you have to create opportunities as you speak. And when you speak, you produce income. Now, when you solve a problem, you're going to get the result of the problem you're solving. Let me tell you one thing. You mentioned initially what are some of the, some of the issues, some of the maybe the things that we go through is speaking without immediate recognition. I know that, and let me go back to the scriptures for a minute. When Joseph has to initially in prison speak, he spoke while he was in prison. It was through the prison he had an opportunity to become the the leader that he came up to be at the end. And what happened a lot of times is when we're not getting the initial recognition, and I'm glad that you titled this as worth in speaking. The worth has different things. Worth is value. When somebody sees that, hey, I came in, you showed me something that I've been blinded with. I never knew. You interpreted my dream. Come on, I'm going to make you a prime minister because you served well. Did Joseph thought about, okay, you got to pay me money to interpret your dream? Hey, I'm telling you a secret. You need to pay me. It came naturally. One of the global speaking engagement that I had one time in Ghana, in Africa, and I think that's my most I have received, not here in the US, in Africa, where we think there is poverty, because you opened the people's eye to something they didn't know. You did something and people were literally throwing money from backstage. They were throwing money. They were touching me. They run to the front. I wish I have the footage to show you. It's like, what have you done? You've spoken into my spirit. Now I'm going to go out and make the money. Now I'm going to go out. You solve a problem for me. And so I believe that maybe initially when we start and we don't get the recognition, sow the seed. That's the time you're learning. That's the time you're connecting. That's the time you're gaining influence, because influence is very important. When Moses have to transition to Joshua, Joshua was like, I'm just now coming in. And one of the things that Moses said is you need influence. You can't tell these people of Israel that they need to do this, they need to do that, they need to do that. You have to gain influence. And I don't mean to make it spiritual. Let's come back to the natural side. When I started the business, I have to speak to my staff. I have over 100 staff and I'm very grateful. But I'm telling you, one of the biggest challenges is after you speak and you've been misinterpreted. Everything that you said has been now turned backwards. Even if you made money, it turned backwards to the other side. Sometimes you have to go in and reconcile. You have to go in and fix things. You have to go in and make it better. And sometimes you have to zoom in and come back and fix things. And I'm going to also say this. Yes, sometimes you do have to approach the issue as of once you gain influence. If you're speaking in a corporate area, they will sometimes let you know how much you're getting for what they paying you. Sometimes they're not going to let you know. We're going to give you a gift. It depends on what you're trying to really do. I have a lot of passion of what I do and how I want to do it. And that's what really helped me to start my foundation, because I wanted to give back the knowledge I have gained, empower people. And initially it's not all about this money. I just want to give back to the community. And I realized that it came in when it naturally, it just followed me. It came after me because I was solving a problem. I was transforming life based on what I said. I was creating opportunities for people that they didn't have that. They wouldn't be able to buy that or purchase it anywhere. And through that, I gained income for being a blessing to someone.
Dr. Grace, can I put a pin there for a moment? I want to come back to that. Tim got to go, but I want to come back because you said something that we have challenge with, and I really want to explain that. You touched, and I want to make sure we expound a little bit on more. Tim, I know you need to go. I wanted you to give some final words before you go, and I want Grace to really, you just touched on something. So Grace, give me a few moments on this. I want to talk about that passion anointing and the anointing. Go ahead, Tim.
This is awesome, Dr. Clark. Again, thank you for inviting me to participate. I just hate that I have to go. I have a lot of things on my plate I got to get done. But awesome. Everyone who has spoken has been a blessing to me so far. I've taken so much away. Just want to, thank you again. And my little input, I would say, is definitely and it's in agreement with what the speakers have already said. Know your audience, know who you're speaking to, because at the end of the day, it's always a value added proposition. Know who you're speaking to, know what their needs are, and most importantly, be an expert and always honing that skill, always learning. That's one of the primary things about leaders, and one of the reasons why they maintain their leadership positions is because they are students continually learning. Therefore, you're able to deliver to the people things that they don't even know they need yet, and you're able to deliver it to them in a concise way that brings value. So it's always a value added proposition. Thank you so much for allowing me to come on and share this space with these great voices. And I hope to be with you guys soon in another setting like this. Thanks again, Dr. Clark.
Amen. Thank you, Tim. Appreciate you. You said something, a mouthful of adding value. We're gonna let you go, but we're gonna cover this right now. Some more things. Thank you, Tim. Have a great day. Uh, Yay. Did he not? He said a lot, knowing your audience. We've heard a lot about that. And that is so true, and bringing value. And that you got to know your audience and make sure you bring value. You want the goal, you got to bring value, Dr. Grace. This whole problem, Dr. Rena, and all of us, if you want the goal, you got to at least bring value and solve somebody's problem. That's just in business, right, Dr. Rena? You're in business. Y'all have your own spices. All the things you do. One of the things I recognize that now we're really into marketplace ministry, basically. Come on, all y'all can open your mic and talk about this, because the fact of the matter, in order to, and this whole thing about getting money and being people, solve a problem. Most folk don't want to solve, they just want to preach. Come on, Dr. Grace and Dr. Marina, come on, talk about that more. And then we want to talk about that thing that you talked about, that passion. I got a whole, oh, God has blessed me on that one. But talk about that marketplace ministry, that you got to profit, you got to understand when you are speaking, having events and things or whatever, creating products is a part of God's creative side. He said, I called you to produce wealth. Come on, let's talk about that.
So our early years, back in, I have to say, back in the day, you'd be selling CDs, cassettes, or or tapes. Now, if you haven't transitioned yet, you're going to be really slow because everything's moved to digital download. So where you could sell a set, CD set or DVD set for $35 to clear the table. Now
Right.
everything is digital download. And so for us doing the travels that we do and speaking that we do, we realized that people's health was a huge factor, especially in the brown community. And
Mm.
so when my husband and I started to get healthy a few years ago, one of the things, especially men, I'm putting men on blast here, they don't like vegetables. And my husband is a meat and carb man. He has been from he was born, married. And so I had to wean him off of carbs. And one of our Caribbean carbs is rice and peas. So I had to wean him off of rice and peas to vegetables. And so I started creating a seasoning line, organic, no salt, because we couldn't at that time when we were doing our health drive, we could have no salt, no oil, no sugar, and so my family was just like, this food is bland. So I had to create stuff, and so now we have our seasoning line, and so you just got to look, especially as leaders, we've got to look at our community. That's our church community and beyond our church community, and come up with ways to help solve the problem of, for us, it was eating right with flavor. And we're Caribbean, so we like our food spicy. We know other people don't. So we will add the extra spice in, the extra cayenne and scotch bonnet. For the Latinos is jalapeno. And so they can add that in. But we created something that would go right across the board. And I think that's the challenge that we're having now as leaders, is how to constantly keep evolving, being relevant, especially in this marketplace, and knowing the people, their needs, and again, problem solving. Solve that
Mhm.
problem.
Mhm. Mhm.
So I'm
Anybody
gonna,
else want to say something? And I want to definite grace. I'm putting a pin in
that's
that
okay.
pastor thing. So go right ahead. Anybody want to jump in and talk about that whole see, everything God give us ideals, everything can't be for free. Come on now. He said, I'll give you power to get with. Can we talk about that? Because ideals, witty ideals. He owned the cattle on the thousand here. Let's just, I'm trying not to get over my wealth stuff, but you can't talk this stuff without no speaker on the stage just going, oh, just give me pounds and flowers and, all that stuff. You got to pay your light bill, your water bill. Come on. You got to pay your rent, guys. Are you telling the gospel? No, you taking my intellectual property.
Yeah.
And you want me to give it to you all the time free? Come on, Avery, Nay, come on, Pastor Wayne. I seen you
Well,
open up your
it's
mic.
Yeah.
interesting
Well,
because
Yes.
yeah. So just very quickly, so we have some equitable distribution of everybody's thoughts and ideas, especially for those that are watching and listening to us. Everything that we're talking about really begins with self.
Mm,
We have to have a high level of self awareness, because an extension of that now allows us to tap into the creativity and the ingenuity and the innovation that we have as a unique gift. Where are you going? Where I'm going is, being a speaker is just a part of what we do
mm-hmm.
as professional men and women. And being creative always gives us ideas and thoughts around generating multiple streams of income.
Okay.
So for just real quick, for an example, as a speaker, it is not a foul to accept a pro bono opportunity. But here's where we get creative. You want to ask some questions to the organizer of the event, that if they don't have the budget to pay you, who's going to be in the room? And if you have an opportunity now to be a speaker in front of 100 or more leaders within that local community, I would say say yes, because that's going to lead to connections with key decision makers in the room. Although you didn't get paid from that particular engagement, I can almost guarantee you with 90% certainty that there's some leader that's going to hear your message, resonate with us, and you'll get paid that way. As an author, another quick example is writing a book is a project. It's more than just intellectual capital going on paper. That's part of it. But it's a project because you have your pre-sales, then you have the writing, then you have to come up with strategies to convince people to buy your product. And so when you write your book, not only are you thinking about your audience as you do as a speaker, but you're also thinking about, well, how many ways can I reach the audience? So we heard a little bit earlier, the world has changed, church dynamics has changed, technology is consistently evolving. AI is now on the scene, and that's daily revolving, right? And so with one book, I always tell authors that it's more than just the print version, because how many people are going into a brick and mortar store these days and looking through the bookshelves to make their purchase? Some are, most aren't. Ebook is a way to reach your audience. Audiobooks are a way to reach your audience. Now we're talking about one book, but now you have 3 versions, but it doesn't stop there. If you're a nonfiction writer like I am, that book can now become a devotional. That same book can become a workbook. That same book can become a study guide, because I'm all about leadership. That's what I do 99% of my waking hours. I'm pouring into people to provide strategies and principles on how to be a better leader as a way to make the world a much better place. So one book, one idea, one creative thought can become literally 6 or 7 different versions to do what? Reach a wider audience, but also an opportunity to create multiple streams of income. And those are just 2 examples. If we had more time, I could go into 14 other examples around generating multiple streams of income, but it starts with your high level of self-awareness and recognizing and acknowledging that God created us to be relational. Every person on the planet, over 8 billion people, everyone craves and desires to be in healthy, authentic, genuine relationships with others. And when things go south, those are the people that don't have those relationships. They're acting out. What's the pain on the inside is being manifest by what we see on the outside, because they don't have that relationship that they crave. So, Dr. Clark, on that, I'm going to stop.
And I'm going to add real quick, it's very important, especially if you want to go global. It's very important that you look into your presentation, you learn the culture. One of the biggest thing that I find myself in, because, I half of my life I was in Ghana and half of my life I'm here in the US. Sometimes I get caught up in the middle, like, okay, so how do I go in? Which part am I, and I have to, like he said, Pastor Johnson said, you have to really identify who you are and what you're good at. So if your area of specialty could be healthcare, or your area of specialty is being a mother, and your area is handling kids, okay, you want to solve a problem in it, you package your presentation and how you're going to present this. And first of all, it has to be unforgettable. So if as a marketer, if I'm looking for a marketer and you come and you want me to hire you, I need you to make a mark. I need you to say something different from what the other person said to me for me to pick you. So you have to know how to really be unforgettable in a room. Now, 2 things is going to happen. Either you're going to be unforgettable in the worst, that they're definitely going to remember you, but it's not going to be good. Or they're going to remember you, but it's something you said that did everything to them. And they said, let's call this person back. into this room. Let's create a space for this person to come in and present. And trust me, that alone is going to open several doors. So we want to be able to package ourselves very well, how we present ourselves in rooms. Sometimes I wonder, why did Esther has to go through all of that to go in front of a can? There was a reason. You have to be able to stay where you are. I could be a good presenter today, but then tomorrow I could be in a space and cause the whole audience to sleep on me. Why? Because you did not really steady your audience very well. You didn't really figure out, what do I need to do to change the atmosphere? Okay, at this point of the hour, I used to present this way, but I'm in India. What do they really do in that culture that does this, that works out very well? We want to be able to identify those things that help us to be more marketable. And when it comes to the money, I'm going to say you need to also know the language in different spaces when you have to do a presentation, or when you have to, touch the lives of others. You need to know the language. So, and I'll leave it that way for now.
I like to add, I love that, Dr. Grace. One of the things that I wanted to add is, when we're talking about funding, we're talking about getting paid, and are we going to speak for free? I would do it. And I love what Pastor Johnson said. Oh, you got to find out who's in the room, because if you're going to a Sherm conference for all of the it's an HR conference that they do every year. They have international, they have regional, they have national. If you can get in front of that audience, you speak for free, because if you bring value, those HR directors, CHMOs, part of Fortune 100, 500, 200 companies bring you in to speak, then you get your 5-figure check, sometimes even 6-figure checks. But I think the core is providing value and creating a demand. The value is, when she comes or when he comes, the people are riled up. We see difference. And what's different when we speak in church, because we all speak in church, and we know if we're a good speaker, everybody's on their feet. Some people are at the altar. Some people bringing money, throwing it at the altar if you hot. But when you get into these corporate spaces, you get into these sales marketing environments, they're not looking for all of that. They're not looking for your homiletics and your hermeneutics. They're looking for, what value do you bring? And they measure it by numbers. When this person comes and speaks, and our guy, Les Brown, he can tell you, when he leaves a place and he's speaking for Coca-Cola, those sales numbers are through the roof. The next 6 to 9 months, they measure by how much money is coming in after you leave. And if it's good, you definitely are coming back. Second point that I'd like to make is, I love the idea that was spoken earlier about creating multiple products, but also know your audience. Because if you're starting to get those corporate invites, they may be 30 minutes, they may be 60 minutes because it's during a lunch break. It may be on a Zoom and you have 1,000 people on. And when you have that opportunity, you want to have a QR code link. You want to have a follow-up where they can do one-on-ones. You want to be able to say, hey, I will come back quarterly. Hey, I have a downloadable document that you can use with your teams and do team building projects. You have to think about your message in a million different ways. It's often said that millionaires have 7 streams of income. And interestingly enough, more recently, I heard that most people think that the 7 streams are in 7 different directions, 7 different businesses, but no, You can have 7 different streams with one product, with one message. You can multiply that message, and you can didact that message so that it works in different spaces and create products around it. Because let me explain to you, if you get in the school industry and you're going to colleges, if you have, and you don't have to have a book, you can have a workbook, you can have a white paper, whatever it is. But if it has a price tag on it, when you go to certain environments, everybody has to have it in order to sit in your class. So if they got 100 people, you got 100 cells, and you don't need a lousy $5,000 honorarium when you're going to make 20. So I'll land my plane right there. It's something to think about.
Whoever wants to share. I mean, my mouth is wide open. Let me explain something to you. This is what you do when you're doing speaking and you want more. Listen, always be your own rescue. That's basically what we're trying to say. Everybody, what people forget is diversity right here, how to diversify and get the goal. People is into everything. Listen, they're selfish. We hear what we want to hear. That's why you got to know how. This call is not about training you to get your signature message as it is. I wanted to just have a dialogue and talk. We can do all of that and train you and whatever, but this is good. This is what I want people to hear, that if you don't have, don't worry about sometimes. Pastor Kevin Wayne said it immediately, it was just great, and say this. You got to know, if are you in the room with the decision maker?
Yeah.
I'm not. I try my best to always talk to the decision makers. When I don't, I get into her. Just other week ago, somebody, I did this. I reached out to someone to work with their organization and whatever what they were doing and whatever. Oh yeah, she was texting me and everything. Okay, you check with the, I'm thinking you're the lead, you're the assist, and then you texting me. That means you in the game. Are you waiting? Then finally get you what you asked for. Then you come back and say, okay, all right, we ready to roll. I'm assuming you don't deal with the decision maker. Then I find out I'm ready. We ready to rock and roll. My company with you all, putting the document that we list everything we're prepared to do for you. And then to find out you didn't talk to the head.
Yeah.
Yep.
And then you got to pull back. Who's that? Go right ahead.
And the example that I gave, we give these real life examples based on life experiences, because that pro bono event was just before the pandemic, right here in the state of Maryland, in Baltimore. And when I canvassed the room, I kind of expected, I kind of felt, I really discerned something big was going to come, but didn't quite know. And just went in and just took the stage. And it was as if I was talking to an audience that had already paid me 6 figures. And what came from that, and what's still coming from it. So we're like 6 years later, people that were in that room have given me opportunities that have led to 6-figure opportunities. One has gone on to be the VP of education for a major international organization. Another young lady that was in the room transitioned from the job that she had, and now she's the chief human resources officer at a major financial institution. And they keep reaching out. Why? Because of that one event where I was willing to say yes. And so I would encourage you to just think outside the box at the doors that open. Not every door that open is meant for us to walk through, but again, with a high level of self-awareness, recognizing and acknowledging who you are and what the organizer is looking to achieve with the audience that's there. That's when you know when to say yes. You're not going to say yes to every opportunity, but great things happen because you have a message that people want to hear, but more important, that people need to hear. And you're the only one that can deliver it.
Right.
Yep.
Exactly.
I have a question. Before you answer, Grace, I have a question for you all. So there's people out there that are leaders that are looking to broaden their audience. Where do they start? so that they can be in front of these doors, these major corporate doors? Where do they start? Anyone can answer.
Whoever
Maurice,
wants to, whoever wants
Maurice,
to.
you
Go
want to jump in,
ahead,
Maurice?
whoever.
I've been out for a while. I'm just coming back in, so I won't be the one to answer that one.
I mean, I don't know. I can
I'll
answer,
answer.
but I want my team to talk. I want you all to talk about it. Where do you go? That was a great question, Dr. Marina, because everybody wanted, where did I go to get to be where these leaders are? Do you want me to talk? Do you want Dr. Maurice? I'm calling you doctor already. Okay, all right, that might be
Thank you.
prophetic.
Thank you for.
So, I mean, what's your passion? If your passion is, um, I have I have been through this. I don't want people to go through this. Okay. And strategically you create something, you have to find the people around it. At the beginning, you might have to do that. And then so let me be practical. So I'm in healthcare. So I see a problem here that why is everybody getting, Alzheimer's, or what is causing this? Okay, so then I start getting into rooms that talks about that disease process.
Come on.
So then you want to connect. So you look out there, what are all the symposiums that are happening? We're talking, we're doing a symposium today. So you want to join. It's all over social media. It's all over our research. We have AI. Do some search, find out what is around me that I could tap into and start connecting, and then start hearing, connecting. And then by the time you know it, you're in spaces giving creative ideas, all kinds of stuff. I believe it starts from there. What you have, who you're connected to, some little research here and there, and then you can get in the room.
You said it exactly right. I can tell you, I have was, and I have done the Chamber of Commerce with Tim, but I thought to myself, I want to start speaking to the areas, the Black Chambers of Commerce, the local, the real, ones in my city, not just Christians, And so what did I do? I joined it. I joined the Chamber of Commerce for my county. It won't even 2-3 months. They had workshop or expo. And I reached out and I said, y'all need anybody else to do a workshop? I got in the community first, started meeting people, and became a part of it. And they said they were doing an expo and they had workshop speakers. I literally wrote or called the person, asked them, did they need anybody else? They said, no, not yet, but I'll put you on the waiting list. And so enough, the door opened. And I hadn't even been in there a long time, but immediately just meeting certain people and she was the decision maker. Let me explain something to you. The woman that I talked to was the decision maker. And she was incredible. But I talked to her, not so much I was trying to manipulate it, because I love what I didn't even know who she was at first. She spoke the first time I went. And I literally recorded her and I called her, and I didn't even know she was the decision maker, but I confirmed how great she was. Well, I was blessed and brought her products. And then that came up. So she knew me. I said, and then the door opened immediately for me. A door open. She said, hey, we got a spot. Who would she think of? The one that did the walk away, didn't buy a product, didn't celebrate her or nothing. The one that did. And I won't even in there a year. I'm talking 5 months, 4, whatever. Right after that, the opportunity came and I did it. Now, you talking about, that's what you got to be in the room sometime with the decision makers. You got to be in the room of the community you're trying to get into sometime. Now, a lot of that for me, I'm a soaker. So when I start hearing stuff and I want something, then God, I just get on the floor soaking in other things. But you do have to be intentional sometimes to be with these, because it's about, you got to realize the reason some of the doors are not coming open because you are not attracted. You have to be, do, and have. There is a formula in the secular world to have. You got to become. You want to be on those stages with your millionaire. Are you a millionaire minded? Can they trust you to be? They're not talking about jobs when those people in the room got businesses. You got to know your audience. You can't be in the room like Dr. Gray just talked about, being in the rooms with these people, find who they are. Listen, wealthy people are not talking about jobs. I'm trying to get the next job. So you got to make sure you have the language that God can bless you in those arenas. And let me just, and if you need to go, Kevin, you got to go now, so I'll let you go. You said I have yes, I know you need to go, Kevin. You ready for me to bring you down? Are you ready to go? Thank you. You got last minute things you want to say before you go, Kevin? I
I have a
know.
quick, yeah, I have a quick question for you. Do you want me to come back? It's just a 15-minute
No.
call.
Oh, okay, great. What I want to say is, listen, if you want to be on the stage with millionaire, you got to think like them. You got to understand the frequency that draws you into it. You have to become the formulas be, do, have. You got to become what you're trying. You got to track. In order to track that room, to track those people, make sure that you know the language, you know the culture, and you're able to stand and speak and bring value in the room. If you're not a millionaire, what you gonna be saying? You got to have a language of your community that try. People say all this. Why did I ask? I knew I wanted to be on that channel to speak, but I'm a businesswoman. I've created 10 plus me, 11 millionaires. I have something to say. I already know most of the room don't have that testimony. So I come in knowing that I have that language that I can, my frequent, I walk in and people start telling me, like the expo, I can even get in the front door. They're saying, who are you? You are somebody. There's lights on me. That literally everywhere I went, I couldn't even, it took me almost an hour just to get through 4 booths. Everybody wanted to connect. They're taking pictures. I know who I am, but I'm on the floor. You have to increase your intellectual capital. Dr. Grace got so many degrees. She around so many ambassadors. Her father-in-law has 600 employees. She business-minded, business. She will always attract you. So let's say it this way, every day. If everybody you attracting, everything you're attracting, you need to check you. It's low in. You're not getting nothing. No doors open. I promise you. I speak from a spirit, a woman that came from zero, poverty. I was in a lab learning grammar at age 35. My father was illiterate. My mother had a 6th grade education. You can't tell me I'm the youngest of 7. Nobody's done what I did. I broke through when God told me the American dream was a nightmare when we got into all kinds of things. That's always going to be my signature. You put me on the stage with Grant Cardone, anybody, I'm telling the story. You know why? Because people need to know that I made 10 millionaires plus. I'm now on most people houses are not even paid for through God. What is your story? But the thing is, you want to be on these stages, but you have not increased your intellectual capital along with tapping into divine intelligence. Here's the thing, as I tell the church, we forget there's a kingdom anointing as well as the priestly. A lot of us are shut everything, but they ain't got nothing in the kingdom. They don't know the language of people with wealth or people that think highly or educated. When I'm with really educated, even though my degree is earned, PhD is religious philosophy, I recognize that still when I'm in the room with educated Black people that's really into education. Dr. Grace, you really opened this thing up. I know that what's going to really click with them to even though I'm there, they honor me that I'm up there on that stage talking to them. So they know automatically I got something. But what I do is that killed it and knock it over, that everything come open in their spirit. I'm telling them that my daughter is a medical doctor. You got to know what to say that open people up to hear you. My son is now a software engineer. I'm saying those like that connect with the Black community that was raised up. You had to have education. Or I know that. And so I can say Jesus all day long with those kind of folks. That don't work. They need to hear that language that you can understand education. And I mean, I be intentional when I'm in those rooms. Otherwise, you got to know your room. Pastor Kevin, I know you need to go real quick. Go ahead and say something, but then I want to get back to hearing from other people. Go
Yeah,
ahead.
I just really want to align with everything that's being said. You notice that what we're doing collectively, but also individually, is we're speaking with enthusiasm and zeal. Why? Because we're being led from the heart. Why? Because we love what we do. And
Right.
so as you gravitate toward what you love to do, be mindful. It is work, but because you love it, it doesn't feel like it's work. And,
Mm-hmm.
and that's the big difference. You also notice that everyone that's speaking has a smile, right? Smile brings calm and peace into your life. It also helps you on the stage when you're speaking, because when you smile and you give eye contact, you're calming yourself down. Again, it goes back to the self-awareness piece that we're talking about. And so as you listen to what we're saying, and as you align with it, and you give it a big hug, and you take away nuggets and tips and tools from this symposium, always move toward what your heart is leading you toward. Because more times than not, that's what you're gifted at doing. And if you're gifted at doing it, it comes naturally, and you have more and more ideas and thoughts to consider as you go forward. And you will feel perfectly at peace at these doors that open that you choose not to go through, as well as the ones that open that you choose to go through. In closing, I just recently did an assessment at the halfway point of the year. So July the 1st takes us officially into the second half of the year. And so I begin to do an assessment for what's to come in 2026. 6 months before we get there in 2026, I kind of already have a roadmap, right, of what 2026 is going to look like. And why do I do that? Because I want to get ahead of where the Lord is going to be taking me. Remember now, one of the takeaways I want you to always resonate with is that it's always better to be prepared and not
Mm.
even have an opportunity than it is to have the
Listen,
opportunity knock on
come
your door
on.
and you not be prepared, right? So let that be a takeaway. Listen, God loves you, and so do I. Anything at all that I can do to help, support, advocate for anything at all that you may want to do in your life, feel free to reach out and touch. We serve. That's the mantra. That's the life's mission. We serve. And so this is not one of those just talk the game, but we make a commitment here to make sure that we follow up within 48 hours or less. That's 2 days. So thank you so much for the opportunity, Dr. Clark and entire team. Good to meet everybody. Let's not make this the last time. This is just the beginning.
I love it. Pastor, thank you.
All right.
God bless.
All righty. Bye-bye.
All right. Boy, Maurice, you still here? Oh my God. Anybody want to? I got to hit on this passion thing. Dr. Marina, A. Renee, y'all want to say anything? And then we're going to let the highlights from Les Brown mentoring us for the Speak for Wealth Launch magazine he was on. Anybody else want to say? But I know Grace hit some things and I got to
Let
hang out
Marie speak.
for 4 minutes. Go ahead.
Let
Anybody?
Marie speak. We've heard from Maurice.
Mhm.
Grace, you want to say something before we get into about this passion thing? Because I really want to talk about
Yes.
this.
So I want to dive a little bit into when you have poured out, you know you did good, and your audience have received what they want from you. They don't, and I've seen this with sometimes with audience, or even the people that invited you, when they feel like they've gotten what they want from you, they might not invite you back. One of the things you want to do, number one, I will say, just make sure you maintain your integrity and your character. Even if you don't feel like they gave back to you or they poured back to you the same amount of energy you poured to your audience. That's one advice I'm going to give. Just keep your integrity and your character and do as you do well. But I'm going to always say it's good to always feel from your audience what they would want in the future, or what they would like to hear, or because sometimes I wonder if we're always current to what their people are going through. And so it's good to always have that in mind and do that. Another thing that really rests in me, and I always go back to the scriptures, so forgive me, I wonder what Solomon had that
Mm.
this Queen of Sheba, just the queen has to leave where she was and bring so much value to this man that all kinds of women were drawn to this man. I know he had wisdom, but he had a lot of influence and he spoke well. And one of the things that I know he did was he solved problems that nobody could really solve. Please, let's have time as speakers to really dive into what what is being, let's study and let's really dive into what is happening and what we're hearing to do or to speak, and go in knowing that this is what I hear the Spirit of God telling me to say. Because when you say the thing at the right time, it will follow
Mm.
you. I mean, this is all I feel about this worth thing, that it's going to follow you. And let's just remain humble when it follows us, because you're going to get a whole lot of money when you speak at the right time, for the right purpose.
Maurice, please jump in.
Oh yes,
Yay.
yes. I'm just soaking up all the knowledge, and you talked about the spices that you sell the spices, and at this weekend I was at the Baltimore Book Festival, and we had a lady there that had these spices, and she was linking them to people their favorite books. She was making these different spices mixing uh, based on book themes. And
Mm.
she was selling them like hotcakes. I couldn't believe. So you
See?
talk about creativity. She wasn't even an author, and she was getting all of our customers. Yes. So you're right. Just having that that innovative mind and respond to a need. Respond to people's need. Yeah. And she was telling me the story about how she just doubted herself, but now and she was there the previous day. And she sold out in a couple of hours. So your story really resonates with me, and how you came up with that phenomenal idea. You saw that you need, I guess, started with your husband,
Yeah.
and I'm the same way. I have the same needs, so I bought some products from her too. I just want to say that really quickly.
Yeah. Maurice, thank you. For those that have just come on, Maurice has a litany of things that he does. He's known as a former police officer, FBI, criminal. I'm going to call you the criminal mind intelligence, criminal mind intelligence. I love creating titles. And so, for those of you that just came on, please look him up. And he talks about being pigeonholed into one thing, and now using his story. And there's so many that are on here that have been on here. I know some of you are coming and joining us late. Is we have transferable skills,
Right.
and these ladies that are still on have used their transferable skills that have opened up not just the spiritual world, but the corporate world. And a question I'd like to ask both of you before we step up, and even you, Maurice, is for so long we have kept our corporate anointing different from our
Woo.
kingdom anointing. And in this new pivot,
Mm.
we've had to embrace both, bring both together. And I want to ask you just quickly, how have you successfully merged the two so that you can help many of us who have kept it separate now to bring it together, to even increase our sphere of influence and our wealth? I'll start with you, Renee.
I think that what I've done, um, initially, I didn't, it was a total disconnect. And now, especially since post pandemic and going back into corporate space, one of the things that a lot of companies started to put in place was to bring in um, chaplains. And I'm a commissioned chaplain. Uh, Being able to bring faith into the corporate space, kind
Mm.
of pierce that corporate veil, because it was always church and state was separate. But now I think that HR directors and above, they are sensing that everybody doesn't go to counseling, but coming back into the workspace, they needed a place of refuge. They needed respite in the workplace, because everyone was just dealing with different things. I think that our skill set, emerging the two, is very important. I think that sometimes we don't know how to do that. We get in the corporate space and start talking about Jesus, and it alienates the others who are of other religions, other faiths. And so, of course, in corporate space, you have a melting pot of believers or disbelievers. But that said, I think you have to study the best way to flower your language. It's not edging God out if we say, as opposed to saying, in the Bible I read, you can very well say, I have a book that I really focus on. And in it, one of the principles are, it still gives that message, but it does not alienate anyone else in the room. And I think when we get into what we call now marketplace ministry, one of the core factors is not alienating people. You're not going to believe how they believe. They're not going to church with you on Sunday, to your personal church. But when you're in that space, you can always encourage someone. And what people sense from you is the love of Christ. They don't know how to put a finger on it, but they understand there's something with you that's a little different than some of the other people that they encounter, which is called anointing. And so when we're in those spaces, they have a tendency to listen and lean forward. Whenever you notice your audience and your room is leaning in, you want to leave them with something that is memorable, as I said before. And the way to do that is to be creative
Mm.
and intentional and strategic in the way we decide to show up and communicate the God that is in us.
Lovely.
Mhm.
Dr. Grace, how did you combine the two?
Yes. Okay. So I always have to look at, my delivery, and she already mentioned everything. I have to make sure that within the space that I'm in, I am speaking the language and I am communicating what is needed. So for instance, I have to, you know, I have to work with certain people to accomplish my goal. I have to be able to connect with people to complete my contract or have my contract signed. So it doesn't matter. You don't go in there asking, what religion are you? But you need that contract signed, and that Muslim have to decide that for you. So you go into that space with that language that contract will be yours. So with that being said, I think in a nutshell, let's really, and we're all learning. Sometimes we might not really come out as strong as, let's figure out where we are and create a very great influence in our community and touch many lives. And I feel like that's going to go a long way. For a long time, I have always wondered how many hospitals were called, Methodist hospital. A lot of the um, a lot of the marketplace areas have religious names to it. Is because they made an impact in the marketplace to the point where they were able to name hospitals, as Methodist, Baptist hospital, because you're impacting the marketplace. And so I feel like we need to be able to work as church. We need to be able to bring the church back in the which is really where ministry is, into the community, and blend with how to deliver, your services, and making sure you're delivering your services, and everything about you is saying that this woman is a woman of God. You don't have to even say the name of God. Everything you're
Mm,
delivering
mhm,
will speak it for itself.
That's good. That
Wonderful,
is
wonderful.
so.
Maurice, how did you merge the two together?
Well, the way I was able to do it was basically I tapped into my ability to inspire people with my story. I kind of got away from the law enforcement stuff and just talked about my struggle.
Mhm,
And for me, no matter how successful someone is, I want to hear the struggle, how you got
Mhm.
there.
Yeah.
mhm,
And I started tapping into that. I went through a class at the State Department about public speaking, and I gave an example of I was talking about my book and for the
Mm,
project, and one of the students in the class said, out of all the things you said when you talked about your struggle growing up,
mm,
that's what caught my attention. We talked about being an introvert.
mm.
That's what I could relate to.
Nice.
And another lady gave me some feedback too. And she says, make sure whenever you tell a story, don't make it about you, make it about them and their problem, and
Mm,
let them identify with your struggle.
mm. And then the problem solving.
Yes.
Everyone, as you can see, that somebody's asked, how can we contact you, Maurice? So I hope that you can put your details in your chat, and
Yes.
that's also for you, Grace and Renee, and put your details in the chat so they can reach out to you. And Dr. Shirley, I'm sure that you'll do that afterwards too. But yeah,
yeah.
this was wonderful. So hand back to you, Dr. Shirley. This is so good.
Yes, yes. This is excellent. Turning connect. I love that question. How you connect that and grace it. All of everything. We have to become better storytellers. I learned how there's nothing wrong with honing your craft. Let me say as I close and get ready to play Les Brown. Um, I could not pronounce words that started with my name S. That's the level of poverty that I was in, and a poverty mentality. And the fact that God would raise me up, Dr. Marina, to be an influencer, that didn't mean I didn't need training. I had to hone my skill sets. I had to learn how to speak. And one of the ways that God did it for me, he started out with me getting it open. Look, doing drama. I got saved and they want to start a drama club and I headed it up. So I was able, my self-esteem was so low when I got in Christ. But it allowed me to be somebody else while being standing before people. You got to realize God is in it for you. Just like Moses. I'm calling you, I can't talk. That was literally me. But that didn't stop then. Then he bought a speech communication professor. And she was doing Miss Jane Pittman and everything. Then I didn't have the skill set to lead this drama. Soon she came in, bam, let me turn it over to the woman that know what she's doing. And she began to work with me with words. I couldn't say words like confiscate, things that you think is normal. You have to understand your poverty mentality. What am I saying? Don't just cause you're bleeding. Don't I know we talk about leading while bleeding. Baby, you need to put some holes in there. If you got to rescue yourself in this speaking industry, we were taught by our bishop to know what room you in. He said, I sweat when I preach, but there's some rooms I go in, I can't sweat. He told us elders and leaders. He said, some room I raise my voice. Some stage I can't raise my voice. I'm training y'all to not just speak in the church. And that's the problem when you talked about the marketplace. Only way we got to say, and the only way we can teach, we got to have Jesus every other word. You got to work your craft that you know how to talk, articulate, say words without saying Jesus, amen, hallelujah, Jesus, all of that. Work to be in different rooms. And sometimes I catch myself and I'll back off. Then I'll use another language. This is honing your craft. My executive administrative assistant, former executive administrative assistant, when God told me 25 years to start Shirley Clark International Ministry, I knew if I'm gonna be traveling, my kids were small, I'm gonna need somebody to watch my kids. She had a degree, chemical. I want to tell you, I want you to see my wounds. I need you to understand it is okay. I was speaking yet with issues. You know what I'm saying? I was doing obedient, but I had still need to work on my language, the speaking, the say words. I'm still coming through. I know it, but he put somebody, my assistant, that had a chemical engineer degree to travel with me that loved me. So behind the scene, after I was ministering, we would talk. She loved me. I knew she was completely. You got those workers who you all, Dr. Marina. They love you. So behind the scenes, she said, "Okay, you put an S on this word that is already plural. You can take it from somebody that love you, because God. I knew then why God brought her into my life. So then I took those words and I had to work it before I got on the stage. Listen, I'm trying to give y'all the real deal here. I'm at home saying the word, repeating the word, saying the word, because your brain get accustomed to these things. You got to understand the language you got when you have a poverty mentality and all those things you're learning. Then I got to learn how to speak in different voices, low tones, different things. You got, like I said, some folks you just need to bring in, their leaders, they don't need you hollering at them. They need you to some of them corporate people that have been. So just decide which one you want to be, then that's fine. But if you know that you want fully gold, some of that gold is in those corporate settings where they already got a $5,000 budget, $10,000, $100,000 budget. So if that's all you want is a love offering, I'm telling you, the love might not be as big as you want sometimes. Dr. Rita, y'all open your mic. I'm wrapping it up so we can see less, but also I just want people to know, Dr. Marina, that you don't, when you get in this thing, get in the room and say, I am in the game to say, I am going to do what I need to do to be the best.
Mm.
And God allowed me to get in a class with that Les Brown, Kay, the makeup woman, and Zig Ziglar went through. And that was, I just had it. Anyway, I went through that training. The president of the organization it gave me scholarships to go in, and they trained me to speak and to be where. And then what God did with all the way through the drama, he was running a thread to get me ready to where I am now.
Praise God.
In the drama, and the teacher herself, the professor would say, Shirley, say this word. Say it over. Nope, you didn't do it right. Say it again. Say, but I'm into the drama. So she's helping me to speak well certain words. I can tell you that I was glad. And it was in a safe environment. And God would bring you tutors and mentors to help you along the way to get you where you can speak and say words. And elevate your language, and learn that sometimes you just need to use one or two elevated words to connect with the room at the level of intellect. Sometimes organizations and do PowerPoints, learning things. There is nothing wrong with Dale Carnegie, the class, the thing I went through it. And I even said one night, Dr. Gray said, I was like, by that time I was a storyteller. I had my own business. So I was in the library. I knew how to tell stories. I knew how to tell. And if I wanted to wreck the room and just tell my testimony of my life. And they had some nice ink pen that were given away. And I was like, I'm just going to sit back in this room and take pictures and take all that stuff and glean from it. They said, that was every night, we had to talk. We had to tell a story. We had to take 1 to 2 minutes. And then they had some nice ink pen that were given away. I said, hot diggity dog. Dr. Clark, gonna give her a pen tonight. I got on that student. It was this. I started right in the middle of that center telling my story, my history. I was going, I'm getting ready to get that ink pen. Ain't nobody getting that nice ink pen but Dr. Clark. I got the ink pen.
I love it.
I knew what was going to wreck the room. You got to know what's going to, I keep saying her because she's touched on a lot of stuff. to understand what is that you want out of that room. Where do you want them to land when you're talking? I had years ago a friend to call me that were coming in the area. And we have done many conferences with them for many years. But that one that were coming through many years later, we wasn't necessarily doing it, but she was coming in the area. And I wasn't planning to go. I mean, you just after a while, after 5, 6 years, you don't go to everything that's gonna come in town. That's just after so many years. But then she called me. And she said, eventually, around we got closer, she said, Dr. Clark, I want you to come share your testimony. I love your testimony. What I'm going to do? I knew what was happening as well. This is my friend. But why did she ask me? I also know the back end. This is you coming in my work. My name on the platform.
Yes.
Now you're finna draw from my influence. And now, but I'm not getting paid. If I'm gonna share my testimony, I ain't got about 10 minutes at the most.
Right.
So I'm not even a keynote speaker. That didn't matter to me because I recognize I got to travel an hour almost to get there. That means I can't just show up on that Saturday to share my testimony. And now I got to come on Friday. Then I got to go on Lisa. You know what I'm saying? That's just not what you're going to do out of courtesy, nephew. So I did, and because of everybody with my friend, all of the ladies and different things. So I recognize though, wait a minute, I'm standing before people. I'm speaking.
Yeah.
I got to look at this more than just a testimony. This is my gift. I get paid for speaking. I'm saying this so people understand. So while they were all taking an hour or more laying hand, prophesying, laying people out, all that time, Dr. Clark decided, let me do what I do, level up every moment to stand before people. I got the most 10 minutes. I did some level up service packages. It ain't about how many hours and how long I'm gonna be up. I know what I bring to the table.
Nice.
I'm gonna land the plane and I'm gonna talk about everybody dreaming destiny and everything and share about who I am, Dr. Gray. Real quick about my mama growing up and I didn't have enough this and water. This was my companion was lack, couldn't read, and 35 locking the thing up, and then I tell them that where I am now. And I knew when to land the plane. I landed that Saturday morning. I got up and put a sales sheet together. I had a lot of products to sell, a lot of books. So I knew I was taking them. But I also knew that I'm finna rack up. I knew I went intentional. So I had some deals. I knocked down some deals for some book deals. And I made a deal for $1,500. And then I had some other workshop in my books. I said, I'm finna rack the room. I'm finna clear it. Nobody, I know what I'm doing. So what I'm saying at the end, as that 30 seconds landed, I said, y'all got dreams and destiny. Now who said that connect with the people? You all been wanting to write books. I told them everything they wanted to do. And I already told where God brought me through, where he brought me where I'm doing, who I done help. Now I'm going to touch their desires and their dream. What did they hear? So I told them, meet me downstairs. And I told them where to meet me. So at the end, after the whole thing went through, everybody this, how about y'all, the speaker, the luncheon speaker done, whatever, all of the, so when everybody's closed and they was on kumbaya and hugs, Dr. Clark went down to a table and I was the only one down there selling. Ask me how much I made in 10 minutes.
How much did you make? I want the number.
Right? $5,000.
That's what I'm talking about. Yes.
$5,000. And the rest was swinging and laying hands and all that stuff. I won't do none of it. And to this day, I have not told any of them, the leaders, because sometimes you have to be careful telling people that.
Yes.
To this day, in what meeting? Because I came there knowing how to get the money and the goal. It doesn't matter how long you speak. Are you bringing value to the people? And so what I want to do before I let Les Brown, and if you want to say, I want to let people know that I put together a level up wealth creation for speakers. It is $9.97, but for these that are listening to it, go through it, and whenever you listen to it, Go to my website, Dr. Shirley Clark, and go on the Level Up Speakers Training. Here's what I need you to understand. I want to help you to know how to put that package together. See, I wanted that by the time I get one or two, I already got 3,000.
Mm-hmm.
You see, you got to understand, some of y'all start out with $10 package deals, $20. No. You got to know how to create these service packages and things. I don't sell books. I don't sell a $20 book. I sell coaching packages. The books, you are the one always recognize you are the real estate in the deal.
Yeah.
So when I go, I don't sell books. I sell me. So they have me. They want me really. So the books and all that other stuff becomes, around dessert, all that stuff around me. I'm there to open my mouth at that table. Listen, you want to write a book? Well, you don't want to write. Listen, and here's what you have to learn how to work with people. Right now, I got a Level Up creation time. It's $9.97. I'm marking it down for new $2.97. Not only that, I have flex payment. So you're going to use other people's money while I'm blessing you to help you create your package. So your package deal, nobody's going to have a package deal less than $300 to get their money back when they work with me.
Nice.
See, that's what you do. And so I have now, go to Dr. Shirley Clark. I was trying to find my banner. I want to help you. A lot of you don't know how to package yourself. You're the value always. And so when I, when I do books, the book itself, I don't sell $20 book. Go to my website and and click on Level Up Wealth Training. You're going to be able to get it for $2.97, which is $9.97. I'm going to help you build your packages out. I never just sell a book unless I'm at the beginning stage doing a bestseller. And one day you're not getting the book. The book become a package deal because they really want me. They want you, speakers. They want you. So sell them you at your value level and give the books away. Everybody wants the book. They didn't create a workbook like they were talking about. But I knew, here's the deal, be willing to work with people. You got to learn how to use other people's money. So that day I didn't have, like I have Flex Pay right now. If they go to the website and click the register and go to the payment solution, now you can use other people's money. Even if you have the money, I say go use somebody else's money. Do a climber, do a whatever. You know why? They're going to pay me all, but then Dr. Clark is going to get in the game and show you how to make $300 to $225 or $3,500, depending on who you are and what you bring to the table. So you got money, you can go to pay that off, and you never use yours from the beginning. So you're going to sell your package deal. But let me just say, for the first 25 people that was registered with this $2.97. So this is where people miss it at. They don't know how to build out. I have soap in the presence of God. I created right now, waiting on let me just not tell everything. Let's just say a $10 million proposal I put together. I'm waiting. We've already gone through it. We're just waiting for the sign. Everything is clear, just sign on the dot. And all of it came from my creativity that we're going to work it.
Nice.
To make it happen for my client. There's no guesswork in it. It's just all what we bring to the table. So the client just got to show up and approve the word.
Nice.
So how do I get there, Dr. Marina? I soaked in the presence of God to get the creative idea. I stopped being a consumer. I became the producer that God blessed me.
Nice.
I called you to produce well and elevate you. How can I do a proposal that much? I know I'm talking to Dr. Grace for sure, and that moves any $1 million off. You see those numbers in your businesses. I can create those proposals now and not be ashamed, because I see I can make the numbers. Numbers don't lie. I can make the numbers work, and I'm a strategist. I often tell people, why did they put me on the help lead a presidential campaign? It won't because of my prayer anointing. It's because I have operations, Marina knows, and I got logistical strategies that God gave me off the floor. How did a woman with nothing with God, couldn't speak, 35 years old. So I'm for the little man. I'm for the one that don't understand that you got something so big in your belly, you need somebody. So why would I give it to you for $297?
Yeah.
I just did 6 people on another level of show them, tell me who you are, everything you have, and while they're talking, I'm hearing they're wealthy, putting stuff in. Some started institutes, some this, some started, did events. Some, whole thing. This is what you want. So $297. Go to my website and do it now. Use other people's money. Just because you got it, you can have the money. I have dealt with people that had zero money, and God, they counseled with me 5 and 10 minutes. And I created through the Spirit of God and told them what to do. And in 30 to 45 days, they're paying me $3,000 to get in my program. A pastor, you pastor in Maryland. I know I want to help God's people, Dr. Marina. I want to help them. I am not one that sit around, don't want to give you the gold and don't want to help nobody. I'm here to show and tell, not just talk and tell. I'm here to show and tell. You can keep me. And so I just want you to know, I appreciate you, Dr. Marina, being with me. So we're going to close out with Les Brown, and then go to my website and sign up and let me help you create the opportunities. Some of you just don't know how to do that and how to framework. Now, out of that, I can certify you a speaker, but right now I found out most people just need some money. If I can just get your money, if I could just put about 5 or 10,000 into your hand, would that be all right? Exactly. People pay me $10,000. They pay me $20,000. They pay me. I'm trying to tell you, I sit here. The thing that's happening now, I want to show people how to become virtual millionaire. I made almost $200,000 sitting here in my office from Clubhouse. Dr. Marina, I'm gonna let you go because I'm gonna let. Thank you. You have any final words? I just want people to know I'm not doing this because I'm not gonna help you, but I'm not even a hobby. I wish I can give it to you free, but I'm not a hobby. I'm a business. I solve problems. I purpose and passion are 2 different things. And what we're learning now is that you have to have purpose to pay for your passion. Purpose. Yeah. Oh God, I teach a lot on this purpose. What the church folks says, I just want to give. I want to get. That's fine. Well, get a profit. Get in your purpose. Make money and fund your own nonprofit. Stop coming to us people with wealth and begging us for money when I want to show you how to fund your own nonprofit. Don't you think Dr. Grace put money into her own nonprofit? Yes. You can't do that without the goal. Dr. Marina, I want to close out with you and then release you. And then we're going to do Les Brown because these people are waiting. Les tore up. I mean, our room when he trained us when he was on the cover. So Dr. Marina, go right ahead.
I want to thank you for this opportunity to introduce me to your audience and my audience. I have you on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, and I'm talking to them on all of the platforms. So my people are thoroughly enjoying you. And ladies, I'm going to be reaching out to you. Grace, you're right here in Dallas. Honey, let's hook up. I'm right here in Dallas, so let's hook up.
You've been good on your program, man.
You know that's where I'm going.
I know it, Grace. I'm gonna need an offering. Yeah, I'm gonna need an offering. Let me give you my cash.
We share friendship. Yes.
But all
absolutely.
We share friendship. This is our networking. And Renee, I do virtual interviews too. So
awesome.
And I use StreamYard. Dr. Shirley taught me StreamYard. She's taught me so much.
Okay.
And so I just love you all. And I thank God that we're starting this conversation.
Likewise.
And my inspirational Tuesday this month is Determine Your Harvest. So,
wow.
my people are on and just been going on like this. So bless you all. Thank you for having me, Dr. Shirley.
I mean, definitely, I'm at a disadvantage on this call now because all y'all are Dallasers and I'm in the good DMV.
Yeah, the big D.
I have my brother Maurice back with me, so he's in Baltimore.
Yeah.
But listen, you guys are just a plane ride away, so.
Exactly. Yeah, come. I'm doing stuff in October at our conference. So I'll be in touch with you all. Yeah.
And I see some of y'all was chatting with me in the private chat, so your information was not going out in the comment. So if you all want to do or stay a little bit longer on the call, like Renee and Maurice, all of y'all, go out to Facebook and put it in there, find the stream and put your email. They were selling, they were sending it, they probably thought they were sending it out to the
Yeah.
people. If you don't see it in the comment, that means you're private. I'm seeing it now that you always putting your information out. People want to connect with you. So
Yeah.
this would be repurposed anyway. People will watch it later on, Dr. Marina. So I'm going to let you go.
Yeah.
Anything else you want to say, Dr. Marina? And then I'm going to play Les Brown. I appreciate y'all. Give her a shout out. Let me see some shout out in the comments. Dr. Marina is a powerful coach and consultant.
That's my
And you
piece.
got this prophet all wrapped around your finger. I see that right now. This prophet been on it the whole while. I'm a wonder you slipping something under the table to this prophet.
No, you know me, the hugs. I give the hugs.
But listen, thank you, Dr. Marina. Love you. And then
Love
I
you
want y'all to
too.
hang out with me, other folks, just about another 10 minutes because Les Brown, I need y'all to hear him. Not about, I think it may be 9 minutes or whatever he's sharing. And then I am going to close out. All right, let's see here. Let's bring up Les Brown. Let's see if we can get this. Okay, yeah, I got it. Let's bring it up. Share the screen. This is so powerful. He did for us. Let's see. Let's see. Level up. Oh, I know. I think I got it. Oh, I got to open it up first. So let's see. Open. Okay, I had it. Okay. Let's see. I found it early. I had it down here, and I knew if I. Oh, here it is. Yes, there it is. Yay! This is so powerful. Les came and taught us. He was on the cover and he taught us gave us 3 good tips on speaking and everything at our Speak for Wealth Launch magazine. Okay. Usually they just come right on in and start. Okay. Okay, well, maybe I got to do it from here.
A legendary.
Can y'all hear that?
Amazing speaker of 52 years been speaking. If you can learn anything about speaking, you know he is the man that you can learn from. So without further ado, actually we're going to go ahead and bring up Crystal, right? And then we're going to bring up Mr. Brown. Okay. We're going to bring up Crystal, our media maven. Welcome, Crystal. How are you?
Hello, hello. I'm so excited.
And I'm going to move that song over real quick and go ahead and get him engaged.
Bring
Welcome, Mr. Brown.
Thank you very much. It's a plum-pleasing pleasure as well as a privilege to be here.
Oh, wow. Well, Melanie, how you want to listen, as I'm concerned, you can let the man of God go and let him flow. You have anything you want to say? I know you said you asked Mr. Brown to share some tips with us tonight. Is that what are you wanting to happen in this time?
Absolutely, yes. For this magazine launch, since this is about speakers, and so many people tell me all the time they want to speak, where to get it started. And so who not better to ask than Mr. Les Brown, the legendary speaker, right? That can give. So Mr. Brown, if you could give us the top 3 tips for someone that wants to get started speaking. We have all these people here that are for this Speak for Wealth magazine release, and they want to know what can you tell them about what the first top 3 things they could do in order to start their speaking business.
Thank you very much. It's a pleasure to be here. And Dr. Shirley, congratulations to you for the great work that you've been doing to help people to find their voice and to use their voice to make impact. And also, I call Anita Boo, but Melanie, Benita, I want to thank you for the work that you're doing, helping entrepreneurs to begin to live their dreams rather than their fears. And Crystal, Miss Charisma, that's what I would call you. I want to tell all 3 of you that you're doing a great work. And this is a time when we look at where we are, the level of intensity, of anxiety, it's important that you tell your story strategically so that people don't just hear you, but they feel you. And you tell it in a way that they see themselves in your story, the things that you've gone through, and they can choose some things from your wisdom, from your setbacks, and how you overcame those things and incorporate that in their lives. So speak so people don't just hear you, but that they feel you, that you create an experience with your story because how people live their lives is a result of the story they believe about themselves. So if you're a coach or a speaker, what we do is distract, dispute, and inspire. Write that down. Distract, dispute, and inspire. We distract people from their current story, their self-explanatory style. And through our presentation and the things that we've overcome, we dismantle their current belief system and allow them to step out of their history and begin to live in their imagination. Einstein said the imagination is the greatest force on the planet, even above knowledge. And the third thing that's very important, that when you are speaking to an audience, don't just go into the details of the stuff that you went through because 80% don't care and 20% glad it's you. I'm glad that didn't happen to me. And You can't correct unless you connect, and that they can relate to and be able to see some value in what you're saying. But when you start at the top and make that kind of statement, I said, they get locked into that, and you can't overcome that through the speech. This is not a platform for therapy. No, you want to share things with them that they can do something with, not some stuff where they say, "Oh, I'm so sorry, baby, that happened to you." I don't know if she listened, but I did not accept her as a client because she gave me some pushback. I'm 80. I don't have time for it. You know, I said, there's a book I read years ago called The Pavilion, and there's a line in there that said, "The lips of the wise are sealed to the ears of the ignorant." And so there are people who already think they know. And I know at this stage of my life, there are some people that will bring you down before they can pull you up. And her energy just did not resonate with me. And I suggest that you find someone else or Toastmasters, but I'm not the one. Are y'all still there? I'm hearing crickets over here.
Yeah. Listening. Mr. Brown, I'm trying to, like I said, I'm trying to chat, I'm trying to listen. You just said something major, though. I don't want to interrupt you, but that therapy piece, that is so incredible that I've never heard anyone say that. Speaking is not a platform for therapy. I don't want to interrupt you. I know you. Did you have another point?
Well, here's something else. I want everybody to think about their goal of what they want to achieve as a speaker, as an entrepreneur, as a coach, or just something in your life personally. Because we are going through a major disruption, and all disruptions are pregnant with new possibilities. And I want to share with you, I want you to write this down. And I guarantee you it's going to dramatically change your life if you adhere to it. Here's what it is. Don't make somebody a go-to person who you can't go to. In the book called The Universe of Success, Og Mandino said most people don't achieve their goals because they become distracted and sidetracked by other people's stuff. Don't make other people allow you to become their go-to person that you can't go to them. That's real. There are people who they're always there when they need you, but when you need them, they're nowhere to be found. Or they say, "Well, I would if I could." And we talk about family members, friends, and children too, grown children.
Wow.
Y'all know, oh,
Yeah, you know,
somebody called me today. I knew who it was. I don't answer my call unless one, is it positive? I know this is not going to be a positive call. So it's a gimme call. And the next one is it productive? I know nothing is going to come out of a conversation with this person. People say time is money. No, time is life. No. And the third thing is it purposeful? Is this a call that we are collaborating on something that we can move in the direction of our goals and dreams together, that we're holding each other to a higher standard? This is a time that you want to be intentional about creating what I've been saying for years, OQP, only quality people. Harvard University did an 85-year study called Your Reference Group. And they watched and studied people, the 1% that control the planet. And they wanted to know what was the common denominator among them. What is it that they had going for them? And what they found, that these people, and you're doing this, Dr. Shirley, they had a community of collaborative, achievement-driven, supportive relationships. This is what Melody Bonita is doing, creating a community of collaborative, achievement-driven, supportive relationships. The road to life is straight and narrow, and few there be that find it. What you're doing and the message that you have and the story that you're telling and the work that I do, it's not for everybody. It's for the few. It's for the few. Because don't speak where you don't have a listening. A person convinced against their will is of the same opinion still. I'm the caregiver for my twin brother, Wesley, and I haven't been together since we were 19. He's my hero. He served 2 tours in Vietnam and the Persian Gulf. He's a Purple Heart. He took a bullet for our flag. And his wife of 50 years and 6 months passed. I went to Fayetteville, North Carolina. I said, come on, because caregivers usually die a short time after the people they took care of. So Wesley and I have been together now for just about a year and 2 months. And Wesley said to me after being here a while, hey, Leslie, yeah, come down and watch basketball with me. I don't watch other people live their dreams. I'm 80. I teach live full and die empty. I don't know how much time I have left. I don't want, if I died, Les Brown died. Was he helping people? No. Was he doing the Zoom, motivating people? No. What was he doing? He was watching Steph Curry. He was watching LeBron and Bronny play together, historic moment. No. I said, Wesley, after 2 weeks, I said, I can't do this. And I had to restrain myself. Here's something to keep in mind. Don't speak where you don't have a voice. A person convinced their will is of the same opinion still. This is who he's decided to be. And so that works for him, but that doesn't work for me. I said, I love you, but we're not going to watch basketball together because I'm not through yet. There's some stuff that I'm going to do before I leave here. I'm teaching people how to live a life that will outlive you. You can't do that watching television, watching the news, David Murray and all of them. No. You have to be intentional. Keep thine eyes single. A double-minded man is unstable in all his ways. You've got to be hungry for something that you've decided that this is what you want to do with your life. And most people, they have not found what I call your magnificent obsession. Most people don't resonate with the message that I give. And one of the things I say to a reporter, he asked me, what's up with you? What are you doing at this point in time? I said, well, I live my life the way I want to lead my life. He said, what do you mean by that? I said, most audiences, if I ask people, if you know you had 6 months to live, what would you do differently? Most would say, I'm quitting my job, or many would say, I'm going to get a divorce because they're in a relationship where they're dying together rather than living together. I would increase my speaking engagements. I would do more Zooms. I would do more personal appearances. I would do more masterminds. I would do more personal appearances, creating experiences, and teaching people the things that I've learned. Miles Monroe said to me, and he's one of my mentees, he said, Les Brown, there's no success without successors. So at this stage of my life, it's about legacy building. It's about finding people who want to learn how to orchestrate and create an experience with an audience. Oliver Wendell Holmes said that once a man or woman's mind has been expanded with an idea or concept beyond their abuse, beyond their setbacks, beyond the things and the trauma that they've experienced, they'll never be satisfied to going back to where it was. My goal is to inspire people to do the greater work. And so I don't know how much time I got left. But I'm glad to be 80. I look at the board and I say, wow. I said, I'm 80. I used to think people in their 40s were old. Now that I'm 80, I feel I served at the Lord's Supper, but I got some good tips. Live your life the way that you want to live your life. I told my children, when they tell you that I have died, don't let them embalm me for 3 days. Sneak in the morgue and put a microphone in my hand. If I don't grab it and say, you got to be hungry. Let's go now. Let's go. Brown, you are got a
I had to open my
microphone in the drawer. That thing was in the right drawer. Get that microphone and bring it down to the ball. I guarantee you, I'll come up. I'll wake up. I'll grab it. Y'all ask me some questions, please.
Yeah, I do. So I have some of the speakers down below. Dr. Terry Spain is a communicator. He's here. Dr. Spain, let me go ahead and see if I can make this everybody. Dr. Spain, I know Raymond said he had a question you wanted to ask. You might have already answered some of his. Let me see it. And Cheryl below. Cheryl, so Dr. Spain, you have some question. I'm going to go ahead and bring up the rest of the team that's going to be in the first rotation. Go ahead, Dr. Spain, and ask Mr. Brown your question. Amazing, guys. It was absolutely amazing. I don't know if who's still here, but thank you all. Listen, I'm not going to belabor the hour, but thank you. I want to thank everybody. You're here, Dr. Renee. A. Renee Cooper, Pastor, and Dr. Grace. Wasn't that powerful?
He's always powerful.
Just to see legend share as we close out, and just any reflection on that, and then we're going to go ahead. That was really good. That he shared all of that. He really just went on and just shared some powerful things even through the question. So everybody, let me do this. Let me just go around and give 30 seconds or 60-second, any kind of reflection, anything you want to say at the last minute. We're going to start with Maurice, and then we'll come down to A. Renee, and then Dr. Grace is going to close us out, and then I'll close out the entire broadcast. Your mic, I don't know what's going on with your mic. Mine's is open on your, yeah, it's open. Did something happen? Okay, well, let's, hey, Renee, I think I heard you, right?
Sure, I'm open.
Yeah. So Maurice, want to go out and come back in sometime, just go out and come back in. Go right ahead, Dr. I'm saying Dr.
Renee Cooper, it is. One of the things that we didn't touch on is when you get into the corporate space, or let's just say outside of church space, don't use the pastor titles. Don't use the
good point.
Titles. Don't use the apostles we understand who you are in God.
Yes, sure.
Here's the thing. People in corporate space don't understand who you are and who they're bringing. So you have to have you want to have two separate packagings for the things that you're going to send out, your one sheets and your bios and so forth. You can mention it definitely as part of your of who you are, part of your bio, but certainly you want to move in just A. Renee Cooper. And it takes you a lot further in that personal space. There was so much said that was good today. Play this back. It'll be on Facebook, and you'll be able to go back and look at this again so that you can take away some of the nuggets. Of course, I have my little notes right over here. But the main thing is trust the door, don't thrust the door, and do the work in the middle. Thank you for having me, Dr. Clark.
Absolutely. Thank you, Renee. Maurice, he was supposed to be here 20 minutes. Maurice has been here two. Maurice, come on, give us your little feedback and reflection, and then Dr. Grace.
Well, for me, just what the doctor ordered, as you know, I'm just getting back into this. All kinds of tips about knowing your audience, knowing who the stakeholders are, speaking their language, and something else about knowing how to plug in your spiritual part of your message, because that's something I learned when I won this award, and I got up there and I said, like, thank my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. Other people thank God too, but there's one Jewish guy said to me. He said to me, he didn't realize I was the one who said it. He says, that really offended me. So that's something, like I said, I was wondering about when you're dealing with corporations stuff, how to show your spirituality without offending people.
Mhm. Thank you, thank you. That we can open that can. You thank God you with me. I'm going to be certifying you. You're going through the program with me, so I can show you how to do that. And again, it's about your presence. I walk in, and people automatically know I'm saved, and so those will gravitate to you anyway. But are you signing my check? Because the room is always going to be filled with people.
Mhm.
You know, are you signing my check? That's another
Mhm.
thing we'll talk about that. Go ahead, Dr.
Mhm.
Grace.
Okay, so another thing I'm going to just add to it, because I think we've said it all, is try to record yourself and review yourself
Oh,
if
yes.
it's possible. I mean, literally, I used to hate just listening to myself, and I wouldn't even want to hear it. But I started to do that, and it went a long way. As a matter of fact, as soon as I started listening to myself, then it did something inside of me. It brought me new ideas, new different things that I felt like I was being coached on. It's good to also have a great mentor. It's good to read books that will bring you great ideas. So that's pretty much all I'm going to add to it. Thank you so much for this great opportunity.
Thank you for these practical tips. This is what people need instruction. You just can't assume. I tell people all the time, I know because I grew up in gross poverty. So a lot of times people say stuff that been middle class and stuff, and they don't have no sense of understanding. When you don't know, no frame of reference, nor have you said search, you did mentor, record yourself. You have to be trained to get rid of those fillers. You got to learn to be silent. And I have done 30 takes or something on a video. I'm trying to leave a message, and I'm deleting it 30 times because I'm saying, uh, uh. You got to learn to just silent those words and speak. And it's hard sometimes. And that's why you got to practice, you got to hone your skills, and you did it in a safe environment. What? You're recording yourself. But you always want to be doing better, be able to, and then you want to become a thought leaders. How do you do that? You read different subject matters that connects the dots. So and there's so much I can say. So that's why I want you to get this level. I promise I'm pushing it to become a 6 or 7 figure client speaker. The day that I got paid $10,000 for speaking, I got the check, and I was believing God to break that ceiling over my head. And so I spoke somewhere, and the man of God told me that as while I was speaking, the Holy Spirit told him to say, break the ceiling off of her, give her a check for $10,000 to speak. How many? 30 minutes. That was years ago. That gives me, when you get that 10, that does something for you to believe for the 20, the 30, the 40, and stuff like that. You got to get a breakthrough where you are there, but you got to have stuff ready. You got to be prepared. Preparation brings about a manifestation. Bottom line. I know we say a lot of stuff in the church, but I promise you, you got to hone your skill set. You got to know, and people don't understand when you get paid, you're not paying me for that little 30 minutes. You paying for me for preparation, my relationship currency. Come on, I'm talking to some speakers on this stage. The reading we've done. That's why folks that do all that talking, I already know a lot of time they're not getting the full manifestation. The labor is worthy of its hire. And if they hire you to speak, know what you know where you're going. Learn your language. Learn where you're going. Uh, Listen, AI is amazing. You can tell AI, give me a script for it. How to make sure I don't forget what I need to forget. Whatever AI will help you on now. But you still need flesh and blood to help you navigate through all of this, some of this stuff. You do it, but you still don't have the relationship currency. That's why I said connect with me. I put my people on stages with millionaire. I make you an international speaker. I took people, Melanie that was in New York. I hired her, and I took her. My company paid for her to try. I traveled with me to speak in Holland. I behaved in her international. I said, I want you to speak with me. I was intentional to make sure she opened her mouth, her resume would change. You need people that will do that for you to change your resume. She had never, and she sat and did them private. They set me aside and wanted me to speak to the business people as well. I was a conference speaker for that women's thing. And they always like to set up for me to meet with the business people. And they set up another private meeting. I had Melanie to also set up. I wanted her to be able to speak so that her resume would change. This is what Dr. Grace was saying. Getting these mentors, people in place to help you get you where you can get. I think it's a saying. I don't know if it said you can go far by yourself, but you can go farther with somebody else. So that's why I said, please look me up. Maurice can tell you before he just got in my program, but before just connecting with me, doors open. He was on the part of that thing with the speaking on that forum. Why? Because I believe that if God opened the door for me, now I'm paying it forward, Dr. Grace. I'm paying it forward. And everything can't be a nickel and diming, but I want to make sure you have all the tools that you need, the information you need to level up your package, your services. Because what happens as I close, a lot of you create packages based on your broke friends. And that's not I said it. Yes, I did. Based on your trouble and your background, where you came out of. That's not, you're not a seer for your greatness. You never build packages based on that. You build it based on your values and what God has put in you. And you got to have the confidence to do it, though, to be able to deliver. And I will help you. So I want you to go and register and let me help you create these packages. And the fact that you get me in the game, I just might just get in on the Zoom with you, make sure you get the money. But the bottom line, I will show you how to do it. So listen, thank you all, Dr. Grace, Renee for hanging out. She's right. Anytime I call Renee, I'm in. She is just so amazing. Met you on Clubhouse, right? Clubhouse.
That's right. In the pandemic. And I called her. I guess I was contracting, and I remember I went in the conference room and I called this lady and I said, I've got to work with you. I was like, I've got to work with you. And the first thing I did is I signed up. I'm a business coach. I went through and got my certification. I knew that I had the goods, but it was just that one, one Clubhouse to the next ones that really helped me galvanize what my strengths were and how to repackage, because I had to totally rebrand. And I knew that I wanted to transition from just being in the church and move into the corporate America space. I knew that's where the money was. And everything was compartmentalized for me. And I said, there has to be a way that I can build a bridge and segue from, speaking in ministry. It doesn't parlay into the business world. And I had to make that connect. So yeah, I'm down. I change my schedule, whatever I need to do, I show up.
You sure do, all the time. She's good people, though. Love you guys. And thank you all that hung out with us, been watching, been chatting. I'm telling Prophet Dr. Robin is Bennett. Thank you all for being there and keeping the chat alive. We love you. Hope you learned something. Connect with me. I even have somewhere on one of my pages somewhere that you can do the free discovery call. Let me just, again, what I get paid, $1,200 an hour. 10,000 to 30,000 a day. I did not just get here overnight and stuff like that. How can I charge that? Because I make millionaires. So you can't charge what I charge just by saying it. There's a reason you have to have results that people will be willing to pay that. So listen, love you. God bless you. Have a great day.
Me too. Thank you very much.